Smartless will be going up against the GKINGs in the second bracket of the semi-finals. That is a 4-0 sweep by GKINGs against Last Chance. But they got it. I think Smartless picked it up at the last second. I didn't see that, but I think Smartless got it at the very last second there.
Quite easy.
Well, congratulations to Smartless for a very, very, very hard-fought victory. They managed to sneak the items out. They're going to get it on the point. Lovers in the air don't even realise that they have the items. And they've snuck it from under their noses. Lovers in the air had all the opportunity to win that, and they didn't see the manoeuvre. This may indeed be a lot closer than we expected initially, especially with the outing of Lovers in the air on the attack of the first stage here.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dogfish, and I'll be your host tonight.
What an incredible final few seconds there. Grand final between the two winning teams of the semi-final, who will then go on to win the $2,000 jackpot.
Well, good afternoon and good evening to each and all of you, and welcome to the CET Open 2022 Series APB Reloaded Tournament. If you have just joined us, where the hell have you been? You've missed quite an exciting tournament so far. The first 4 matches of the 8 teams participating in this tournament have concluded, and as you can see, Godsting versus Venia, it was a clean sweep by Godsting, winning 4-0. Next up, we had Ultimate Matori versus Smartless. A much closer match, but once again, Smartless pinching the victory at the last second, securing a 4-2 win. After that, we had GKINGs versus Last Chance, which we thought was going to be a much closer match, and subsequently GKINGs pulled out all the stops and completely dominated that match. Last Chance did have a few opportunities, but failed to make anything really happen. And then 2 weeks ago, we finally saw the conclusion of the first round of matches with Slayem versus Lovers in the Air. There were multiple moments where Lovers in the Air definitely had the opportunity to win a couple of rounds against Slayem, but ultimately it all fell apart on multiple occasions. Thus, we are left with the final 4. Godsting versus Slayem and Smartless versus GKINGs. Tonight, we will be showing you the match between Smartless and GKINGs. But before we do that, we do have a quick thing to go over, which is in fact the poll. Now, as usual, in the CET Discord and on Twitter, we asked you, the viewers, who you thought was going to win the first of the semi-finals and thus make it to the finals. It was quite a close race, actually. We were following the results live as they were coming in, but the final result is far more decisive. A 70-30 ratio split in favour of GKINGs. Yes, according to all of you lovely viewers, you believe GKINGs will top Smartless in this match and thus make it to the finals. I must be honest, my personal opinion is the opposite. I think Smartless are going to run away with this one. I think it is going to be a much closer fight. It's going to be very similar to their first outing against Ultimate Matori, and we have seen how capable both of these teams are. However, I am of the impression that Smartless will run away with this one. It is going to be close, but I do think they're going to probably win the last round. And I suspect we might even see that all-elusive special tiebreaker match and round that we've been saving for just such an occasion. Hopefully we get to use it properly today, and hopefully the teams will be close enough to warrant a tiebreaker match. But that's all in the future. So just as a reminder, Smartless versus GKINGs, it looks like both teams are ready to go. Now, before we get started, we do have to call out the streams. So, as you know, at CET, we use other people's Twitch streams, and we broadcast them on here in one location to make it easy for you to follow the match from both perspectives from both teams. However, if you are interested in supporting the streamer directly, then the two streamers tonight are as follows. For the GKINGs, we have Flogit streaming their perspective. They're at twitch.tv/Flogit. That's FLOGGET. But if you're interested in watching it from Smartless's perspective, Device is streaming for their team and can be found at twitch.tv/device_. That is DIVAICE_. Hopefully we'll be posting it in the chat in just a moment, so you can watch those perspectives directly as opposed to through the CET. But we hope you stay here, as we'll try and keep on top of the action as much as we can. Now, it does look like both teams are ready to get going here, and it does look like both teams are just simply waiting for us to start. I have a suspicious feeling that I have been the problem here. So, without further ado, let's get you right over to their footage, let's get right over to their perspectives, and most importantly, let's get this match started. The first of the two semi-finals starting now. We've updated the visuals a little bit to make it easier for you to track at home which side we are watching, although I'm sure it won't be too difficult to follow. That being said, I will try to manage the audio as best as I can here to give you the best experience possible that we can provide. Now then, both teams are ready and raring to go by the looks of it. We're just waiting for the all-important coin toss, and most importantly, who will be attacking for the first round of this tournament, of this semi-final, rather.
Я помню это. Я приду.
Whilst we wait for both teams to get ready, just a quick reminder, you will not have to wait long for the next semi-final. The conclusion of the semi-finals will happen tomorrow at the same time. So that's Sunday, 5 PM UTC. But don't forget, the clocks do go back for some of you. If you're in the UK, the clocks do go back this Sunday. So we do get an extra hour of sleep tonight, which is nice. I've been needing it myself. But, most importantly, it will be exactly 5 PM UTC. So, we hope to see you then for Godsting versus Slayham. I couldn't remember the other two semi-finalists there, well done me. But yes, it looks like we're almost getting ready to get started here. We have had a couple of issues this afternoon with getting the players in and ready. There's been a couple of issues with APB, but then again, when isn't there? So we're just waiting for both teams to finally be ready to go here. I did say they were, it looked like they were, but from my perspective here, we're just waiting for Flogit to get back onto their character. Now, a brief reminder of how this goes down. This is a best of 7, so the first team to win 4 out of the 7 rounds will win this match and go through to the finals. However, both teams, after 3 matches, 3 rounds, will swap factions. So whilst you can see Smartless is on Criminal here, after the 3rd round has been played, they will swap over to the Enforcer faction, whereas GKINGs will do the opposite, and will swap from Enforcer to Criminal. So just to make sure that both teams get access to both the mission pools, and we ensure that both sides attack and defend from both perspectives. A fun fact, actually, if you look in the database, there are more criminal missions than there are enforcer missions. In fact, a hell of a lot more criminal missions. So it's going to be easier, I think, for the criminals, as they have a much larger mission pool to potentially play, whereas the enforcers, unfortunately, don't have the best of attack missions. Hence why we do the all-important swap. So, the all-important coin toss is about to start here as both teams wait eagerly. So it looks like Device is going to be calling tails here, Floggett will call heads. So, we're just waiting on Comfire here, or Comfire, I don't know how to pronounce it. And it looks like it's heads, so... GKINGs should be on the attack first, I believe. We'll get confirmation in just a moment. Correct. So the enforcers will be on the attack first. So Smartless will be defending. GKINGs will be on the offensive. Round 1 will be starting any second now as we just get a final confirmation that all players of both teams are ready to go. And here we go. And away we go. It does look like one of the members of GKINGs is AFK still. I don't know if that was communicated. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it was. It looks like they are still potentially playing this. I'm not sure why. One of the team members of GKINGs is still AFK. I think we may have just had a false start there. And obviously I can't read or interpret the UI correctly. Yes, we're going back to the start, waiting for SpyTrack to get back from AFK, and then we can get started. Nothing but delays today, unfortunately, but we will get this match started in just a moment, albeit an hour late. And appropriate theme there played, considering the two teams that are playing today.
Ладно, я думаю, он это самое Айнеса по-любому буду спрашивать лично, нахуй, там, каждого игрока, готов он или нет. Все уже вернулся, мы уже проебали одну.
А что случилось? Ресет? Просто запустили миссию, вообще не спросили, как ты выиграл.
Мы проебали.
And with that, it does look like the last member of GKINGs is finally ready to go here. SpyTrack has made it back in front of his mouse and keyboard, thankfully. And so, 1 hour late, round 1 will be caught napping, and the GKINGs will be on the attack. Thank you very much indeed for your patience at home. Let's get this going. So, are finally both teams ready to go here? And as always, just before we get started, quick audio check for the viewers at home. You can hear the in-game fine. I'm hoping that the in-game comms are not blaring over my voice, as much as you probably want that.
Бля, у меня не пофиксилось, что за бред?
Долго добавляли, он был готов на самом деле все время, его просто добавляли.
Да?
Нахуя?
Я не буду ждать, нахуй, я просто, блядь, подмогу вызову и все. Ебал народ, нахуй, тут ждать, что там.
Ну.
Да, вроде
и говорил, типа,
вроде все нахуй.
я у вас, типа, Джесси просто забил хуй и вышел, типа, он говорит, нет, все это время готов был сразу же, но его 3 минуты где-то добавляли. Миссию. Типа, не виноват почему-то.
только вырубил стрим, пофиксилось.
Он на посту в бане?
Вообще да, типа...
Whilst we wait, another quick question for the chat. Who do you think is going to win between Slayham and Godsting? The other semi-final bracket that we have tomorrow. There will be a poll open, but it would be nice to get some initial responses now, just to see who we think is going to go through to face one of these two in the finals. Now remember, there is a losers bracket as well, so the losers of both the semi-finals will fight off against each other for third place. But then after that, we will have the grand final between the two winners.
Сейчас он в итоге еще, блядь, пойдет чекать все списки, блядь, искать
Так она в бане?
миссию.
And I think we are almost... I keep saying it, I think we're almost ready now. I think we're finally going to get the first round underway here. Any second now, that is.
С такой организацией...
This first round's taking longer to start than the engine upgrade. Bloody hell.
The same we do in production role where you will be able to... Короче, мы решили не банить тяжелые темы, миссии на тяжелые темы. Даже если вы типа голосовали за это, что-то такое. И в семифайналах мы представляем роли. Вот тут я чуть не всем понимаю. Я не знаю, нужен перевод Сереги. Да я так понял, они могут забанить одну миссию. У них есть право забанить одну миссию.
So there's a slight contention here about the first mission being played. I think there was a request put in to ban that particular mission due to the way it plays out. So we're just confirming what the situation is. It does look like they are going to skip. They are going to skip this one. And they're going to roll another attack mission. They only get one skip per day, so per match essentially. And they have opted to use it to skip the mission Court Napping. As I'm sure all of us have caught CET napping for an hour as we waited over an hour for this round to get started. Final checks are being made at the moment. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say when the round starts, because I don't know. Okay, we've got confirmation from GKING that they're ready to go. I believe Smartless is also ready to go. So, finally, round one is underway. We have GKING versus Smartless, first semi-final bracket tonight. And the first mission now is the Ditched Riches. 2 investigations to be conducted at the start here. And both teams have taken completely different approaches to this. As you can see from Smartless' perspective, it does look like they're opting to take the overpass first and use that as a defensive position, whereas the members of GKING are opting to go into Tiptoe's car park and counter-snipe them from there, trying to get that all-important information straight from the start so they can see where the defenders are before they take them. And it looks like they are trying to sneak onto the point straight away, but it does look like the members of Smartless have caught on. They are trying to get the first blood here, and the first blood goes to Nariko. That's Device getting the kill on Unia there. Floggett not really able to assist too much from this position, as this is a very, very smart position from Device, using that small rooftop on the right-hand side of the Tiptoe car park, right of the objective A point. And Floggett can't see it from there. Nariko accidentally getting a team kill there on Sarcasm, as the members of GKING here moving to try and take the point, but they are getting caught from both sides as the last 2 defenders of Smartless hold short. but Spytrack's there to provide the assist and allow Flogget to get the first objective investigation done. There is one car spawner on the opposite side of the B point here that Smartless can use to get back into this fight, but it does look like Flogget has spotted one of the respawning members of Smartless trying to get in there as Sarcasm tries to sneak his way back into defend. Counterweight does get the pick on Unia though, as he's still holding up top. Gets a few good shots on there with the N-Tech. The OB coming in quite comfortably for Flogget and providing a good amount of pressure on counterweight. This is the range that the OB really excels at, especially with cover. So Flogget making good use of his car there. It does look like the other defending members of Smartless are trying to hold on, but Flogget does manage to get the pick there. As well, both Spytrack and Flogget both on the overpass watching over, but none of them going for the point yet, interestingly enough. They're a bit worried about where the third and final remaining member of Smartless is before they take this point, but he's nowhere near. No, he is close. Sarcasm manages to sneak in with the Oscar, gets the kill on Spytrack before he can take the objective. And Flogget, trying to cover the overpass here, does drop down to try and get the pick on counterweight, so Unia can move in and take the point. Unia gets the pick there, and instead, Sarcasm does get the pick on Unia now, so it's down to Flogget to try and finish this investigation. But he is going to be in trouble here as both Sarcasm and Nariko get the kill. Good assist there from Nariko Zobir as Sarcasm finishes him off with the Oscar. So the remaining members of GKING start to try and make their way back in. Smartless now have ample amount of time to reset up, refortify, and keep an eye out for where these attackers are coming from. From GKING's perspective, they are pushing in once again from Tiptoe's car park to try and get valuable information, but they only have 1 minute 45 left on the clock, so they're going to have to be a bit aggressive this time round and probably sweep them a bit quicker than they did. Can't afford to be slowed down or staggered by just one member from Smartless, but they are respecting them and their positions well. Now Flogget does spot one of the members of Smartless there, doesn't really do a lot of damage, does get a bit of damage off on their car spawner Han Koiwolf. Not to too much effect, the car spawner is still active. From Smartless's position, they're still holding from the overpass in that just behind that one building there, as Flogget does manage to get a few good hits on before Nariko jumps back into the vehicle and just rotates round, wasting time here, valuable time being wasted, but it does look like Flogget is now trying to make his way onto the point here, letting Unia and Spytrack provide cover as much as possible. There is a bit of a fight going off on the overpass as Nariko does break the stalemate and get a kill on Unia, does try to Flogget tries to dive onto the point, isn't able to get onto it for too long as Spytrack is there, providing support for Flogget as he tries to hold off Sarcasm. An aid went off there, and it looks like Sarcasm did get the kill on Flogget, but Spytrack was able to pick up Sarcasm, and Nariko's the last one alive here for Smartless, trying to defend this point with barely any health left. Spytrack and Unia working together. It looks like Spytrack's going to jump onto the B point here and possibly take it with only a couple of seconds left. As we go back to Flogget's perspective, let's see if they get it. They managed to get it. Stage 2, 5 minutes on the clock, and only one objective to raid this time. Good few kills there from Spytrack. Good coordination from both Spytrack and Unia, picking up the last few members of Smartless and able to secure the first stage at the last second, really, but they were able to pull it off. Now then, another uphill struggle there as they make their way to the opposite side of this access ramp to the highway construction area, and it does look like some of the members of Smartless are opting to use this area to defend and hold angles on the objective from. They do manage to spot the members of GKINGs moving in from the overpass, but I don't think they've noticed Flogget sneaking all the way in, and I think Nariko is going to be in for a surprise here if it wasn't communicated, but they have spotted each other now, so the game's on. A bit of contention there between vehicles on the ramp up there. On the access ramp, both teams whiffing 45 shots like nobody's business. Unia does manage to get an angle on Device there, dropping him, but another member of what I think is GKINGs is now taking that position. Spytrack also getting counterweight there. It's a 3v1 as all three members of GKINGs now start to make their way in. Sarcasm gets a good kill on Unia there, but Flogget picks up the kill with assist from Spytrack as they quickly dive onto the point and try and take this, but it does look like Nariko is going to try and jump back on and potentially stop this, but Spytrack's providing good cover as Flogget effortlessly takes the objective. Stage 3.
Мост.
It's a single drop-off. They have to drop off a medium item.
Вышел.
It's only 430 meters away, 5 minutes on the clock. Should be relatively straightforward for GKINGs here as they make a calculated push to
Заказ мост.
the car spawner here, the petrol station, or the GA5 station. Steal just a Fresno, and off they go. Couple of grenades there coming in from Device, trying to slow down the vehicle. They do manage to set it on fire, but unfortunately not able to do too much there. Unia does pick up the kill. Both streamers died, so we can't really see what's going on here, but it does look like the members of Smartless are now swarming onto the item and where the item dropped to put up a defensive perimeter there, as the members of GKINGs desperately try to get on there and try to get the item out as quickly as possible. Good vehicle kill there. I didn't see who that was, but it does look like Spytrack has picked up counterweight as well as Sarcasm here.
Я машину покажу.
Spytrack doing a lot of work here for the GKINGs, as Flogget here tries to take the item. No, Spytrack's going to take it in a Fresno instead, and Flogget is going to run cover and try and run a bit of distraction here while they desperately try to make their way to the drop-off before the defenders do. Now, as it comes to the defenders, they opted to defend the item itself rather than the drop-off, and they are trailing. So it is going to be a race to the finish here. And this will take us to stage 4. It does look like Flogget is going to jump out early and provide support for the Fresno. Fumbles and fakes the grenade throw. I don't know if that was the right idea. Has given them ample time to catch up to the Fresno. They have spun the Fresno round using the Koi Wolf. It's going to be all to play for. Device has snuck onto the point and put a car on the drop-off, so it's going to be difficult for GKINGs to just drop this off. They do have 3 minutes on the clock. It is good time wasting here by Smartless, slowing down their advance to the drop-off. And it is looking like they are going to try and swap vehicles here and just have a definitive push all the way onto the drop-off. But this might not be the right play. GKINGs taking a much more measured attack here and a much more careful approach. Fantastic concussion grenade there, picking up both Sarcasm and Counterweight, putting Smartless on the back foot here as the remaining member for Smartless, Device, is just waiting. I think they know he's there already, since he hasn't been competing in any of these fights up to the drop-off, and here come all 3 members of GKINGs as they try to surround, find the last member, snuff them out, or at least provide enough support to just drop the item off. Really good team play there, as the final few members of Smartless try to trickle in and defend the point, but to no luck as we go to stage 4. 3 items to collect, which are small items, I believe, and this will go to a scavenger, your drop, their drop final. The way that works is the teams have to drop off the items on their drop-off, and they will earn points for doing so, at 1 point per 2 seconds per item. So if they have all 3, this could be a quick victory. They're opting to just pick up the task items. Doing so does count as picking them up and will progress the stage, but it does look like 2 members of Smartless have already collected 2 items and are going to try and get them to safety here before they take the stage to the final. And it does look like the members of GKINGs are trying desperately to get that Vegas on fire. They do so, but it does just get out of range for both of them. And they are going to be able to swap that vehicle pretty quickly, but they're going to have to be fast here. That Vegas is Flogget's Vegas is hot on the heels. GKING's now picking up the last item just to convert it to the last stage here and turn us over to the last stage. And Smartless will now take this opportunity to drop off their safe item quickly. GKINGs will have to make a choice whether to defend their item carrier or simply... No, they don't have one of the items. In fact, Smartless picked up the last item sneakily and are now taking 2 items from different directions to their drop-off. Unfortunately for them, both the drop-offs are quite close to each other. I'd wager about 100 meters in difference, and there's not really too much difference between them. And it does look like Smartless are going to try and get the early lead here. Fantastic angle there from Device on Unia. Unia providing an effective distraction there, but not enough, as 2 items have now been delivered to Smartless's drop-off and the points start coming in. And as you can see, 2 points every 2 seconds. So they're on a point a second at the moment, as the 3rd item is being delivered by the last member of Smartless. But here come the members of GKINGs trying to push their way in. take the items off the point. Getting caught out there by a fantastic nade by Nariko there, as they're watching both hallways, left and right, to see if the other two members are going to sneak in. Counterweight does get a pick on Spytrack there, as the last member, Unia, does manage to sneak all the way in, but the last two members of Smartless will pick up that kill with ease. Good team wipe there by Smartless, taking the early lead on the last stage of this mission. GKING's all to play for, showing some great teamwork to begin with, but maybe their slow and measured approach is going to be their downfall in the last stages here. We'll have to see how they adapt to the situation. They're at a huge deficit. 1.5 points every second earned by Smartless. Good nade there by Flogger on GKING's. Had no idea that he was there. Caught out completely. All three members now pushing in, using grenades to their effective, trying to snuff out the remaining members of Smartless as they desperately hide in the corners of the hallways, throwing nades in to try and guess where the push is coming from, as all three members now desperately try to stop those points being collected by the items dropped off on Smartless's drop-off. Managed to pick up 2, not the third though. They go back and pick up the third. 111 points already. That's going to take the GKINGs quite some time to minimize that deficit and thus take the lead, but there are 7 minutes 30 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time here to turn this around for the GKINGs, as Smartless now holding the opposite side of the road there from the GKINGs base perspective and are trying to get eyes on the GKING couriers of the medium items. And we're able to stop them a little bit. The members of Smartless now setting up on the opposite side, trying to desperately hold the hallway that the GKING's team base is in. Both Unia and Spytrack holding short, as Nariko, both Counterweight and Sarcasm holding short, as Nariko is trying to get an angle on the other two members of GKING's here. Making a maneuver around, trying to find the last member, Flog it, as he runs back out. Is he going to get caught or spotted by Nariko? No, he doesn't. Instead, there's a grenade frenzy going on in this hallway as they exchange grenades back and forth. Not really too much going on, as both Sarcasm gets a pick on Unia, Counterweight gets a pick on Flog it now. The GKING's offensive falling apart as they're just taking a little bit too long to really do anything here, and Smartless getting all the time in the world to just maneuver around them, pin them down, get them caught on corners, and finally finish them off. And as I say that, Counterweight gets the pick on Spytrack, as Nariko here spots Unia's respawn, tries to get the shot, whiffs at everyone. Unia's doing him dirty there, swerving those shots, and gets the revenge. Unia gets a great kill there, gets a pick on Nariko, as Flogget now tries to make his way across in from his team base towards the Smartless base, but you know what? Those points are adding up. It's 2 items on the drop-off for Smartless here. They have only 1 more item to drop off, and it does look like Unia's trying to sneak it, but Counterweight does get the kill. Probably set up that item as a trap to pick off members of GKINGs as they make their way in. But again, you can see this. They work very well as a team, but they're a little bit disjointed and disconnected as they push in. Smartless, much more effective team play here on the defense, but admittedly, a much easier item to defend. So we'll have to see what changes to strategy that GKINGs decide to employ here. They've got 5 minutes left on the clock, still plenty of time to turn this around, but they're gonna have to do something soon, because if they don't, Smartless will win on points. And speaking of which, there's only 100 points left to go. But it does look like the members of Smartless now holding the alleyways, just luring the members of GKINGs onto the point to let them take the items off and flush them out. An interesting strategy here, and they can get away with it as well, they're on the defense. Spytrack making an aggressive push here, does manage to catch one of the members of Smartless, but doesn't see the other. And the other member of Smartless now, Spytrack I think that was, getting picked off there by Sarcasm. Sarcasm being the member of Smartless, using his Oscar to good effect there, managing to hide quite effectively. Unia now getting an angle on Sarcasm and getting the pick. So 2 members of GKINGs are now on point, on position to move these items away. And they're slowly doing so, but they need to be quicker than this. Flogget not really doing too much here, trying desperately to find the spawns of Smartless, but Smartless opting to hold their GKING team base instead and getting nades on the cars here early. They have managed to get one of the items onto the team base in a car, and a second car coming up now, but They'll need to get them out of the vehicle and onto the point in order to secure those points. But unfortunately, they're not really doing too much here. Floggit does manage to find Counterweight and pick him off as Sarcasm gets a good grenade on Nunia. It's a 2v2 now. Spytrack's on the point with Floggit in support, grabbing a car there. But Nariko is holding firm, holding calm and collected, and is just waiting for the GKINGs to push in. And they are going to try and take the third item here as well, get the items as far away from the Smartless team base as possible, so it takes them longer to get these items back. But as it currently stands, GKINGs will need all 3 items on point, and it will still go to overtime in order for them to win this. So it is definitely a huge uphill struggle now for GKINGs if they want to win this first round. Smartless still holding firm, watching the different angles, and it does look like Floggit is going to try and get an angle here. Does hear the doors open, and here comes the encounter. Unia getting a fantastic grenade there on Nariko, who is also proccing a grenade. Good teamwork there from the GKINGs as they do start to make this push. This all-important push. This is probably the last one they're going to get, and they're going to need to hold this afterwards. Does manage to find Sarcasm as well, as Sarcasm does get a pick on Unia. It is a 2v2. The third member of Smartless GKING, of Smartless Counterweight is starting to move in, getting good nades on the item there, on the drop-off. As Floggit desperately tries to aim duel Sarcasm here, Spytrack finally comes in and provides the support. Fantastic use of the 45 there, killing off Counterweight, and now GKINGs have got the chance to turn this all about. This could be a huge upset on the first round after all that work Smartless put in. But they are trying to make their way back in there. Good use of the 45 there. Does manage to get one, but Floggit does manage to pick up the kill on device there. Another member of Smartless tries to sneak in using epinephrine, running across the open road there, getting caught out. 2 of the items are now being dropped off onto the GKING's base. They are starting to get points back. 2 minutes left on the clock. They aren't going to have a lot of time here. It is going to go to overtime. Counterweight managing to sneak in after getting shot initially from his epinephrine run. But another member there, Sarcasm, also joining Counterweight on the push here, as they do get the pick on Floggit. In the meantime, one of the spawns of GKINGs has been found by Device, as he does try to pick him up before he can make his way in. I believe that's Spytrack, so Unia gets the pick on Sarcasm here. Good kill there from the GKING defender. So it is only Counterweight now in the vicinity of the Smartless team base. As Nariko does get a pick on Spytrack, Unia does get the pick on Counterweight. Smartless now trying to push in, but here comes Floggit providing support from a different angle. I don't know if Device realizes this. He might get caught out, but then again, Floggit might get caught out here. He hasn't seen the move. And here's the Angel. It's a 2-on-1. He gets caught out. Floggit does die to the push in from Sarcasm, as Sarcasm now comes in to support his dead teammate, as he does make it onto the point here. The point deficit is close, but the last member of Smartless did manage to get onto the drop-off and pick up the items that Smartless had dropped off, so their items have been stopped. It was a team wipe there by both Sarcasm and Counterweight, doing a full team wipe on GKINGs there. Fantastic play. Nariko trying to get back in and just cause a bit of disruption to the members of GKINGs pushing back in, as they do try to get there, but the items have already left. The items have already left the hallway, as the members of Smartless are already making their way with the items onto the point, even though it's across the way. Sarcasm getting a pick on Nunia there. Floggit getting the re-kill on Sarcasm. The items have been moved across. 15 seconds left on the clock. It was a close pushback from GKINGs, but unfortunately they got caught napping on this mission, as Smartless will take the first win of the night for this semi-final.
Мне кажется, вам не надо было что в конце. Пока по сарказму. Пока по сарказму.
Fantastic back and forth match there. GKINGs really showing incredible strength on the attack. But then it all fell apart on the last stage, and Smartless changed their game plan entirely and were able to use their aggression and teamwork to secure the bag there. So, good first round there for Smartless. We'll have to see what GKINGs have as an answer or even a response to that. And they are definitely going to have to come up with a different solution to the final stage problem that they currently have. Very interesting match there to begin with. Let's see what round 2 has to give us. Smartless will be on the attack for round 2. GKINGs on the defense. We'll have to see what the GKINGs defense has to offer. Will they be able to stop Smartless before they get to the last stage? Maybe the strategy they need to employ. Or will Smartless's relentless aggression carry them all the way to the final stage, and then their teamwork secure the second round? We'll be getting started here in just a moment. We're just waiting for both teams to get back to the starting block, and then round 2 will commence.
Нормально все построилось?
Да. Запись двигается. Я здесь.
Спиды кош.
Кто купить?
Спиды.
О, велплей прислали. Бля, у меня вот возьму, заканчивается. А вообще не забагает?
Не, не. Ну можешь перезайти.
После
Перезайди всякий случай.
Да, деф надо сыграть.
Spare wheels. Это что? Бля, ну первый деф могли быть. Я очень сильно нравится. Ты что-то поспешил запуск. Да. Могу бы отделиться и отъебать.
Да там я должен был сейвить просто.
Серега,
Да.
что spare wheels?
Я пошел на...
Да я как, наверное, зря пикнул. Я типа на мосту был, когда они вдвоем там были. Мне граната не попала во флаге-то. Типа слишком далековато он там отошел. А на ансика я типа пикнул, думал, что он залит.
What I will say though is it was definitely a close match between the two, back and forth all the way. And we can definitely see the different approaches of the two teams as they attack and defend. And as I mentioned, the GKINGs have a much more methodical approach. They push together, they use communication more effectively, and they're able to make those steps towards their next objective. Smartless, on the other hand, a much more looser play style, more looser strategy here. They are kind of relying on their own merits, but they do come to support at the times of need, and they are able to consolidate and push from a single direction as well. A much more flexible strategy here, which I think is going to be proven successful and will probably carry them to the finals. So far, it does look like Smartless might take this, but again, it's early days. We'll have to wait and see what GKINGs have to offer on the defense here, as Smartless will be going on the attack for round 2.
Я прикинь, под респу на мосту респа стояла, я даю нейт под нее, она вниз проваливается, нахуй, просто.
У меня был момент, короче, Лаксис на дороге резается, я ему 2 берсты даю, и он просто вот так вот стоит. То есть вот так вот. И все, я 4-5 берст на миссу, и все. Я пускаю, типа.
На персонажа.
Просто потому что, блядь, он стоит на месте.
У нас паяльник только я или Флобик можем взять.
Нормально, первый разыгрывающий.
Some slight technical difficulties from one of the members of Smartless at the moment. We're just waiting for Spy Track. No, we're waiting for Sarcasm to get back in game. I think they just had a crash or another issue with APB. Typical.
Он меня убил, тебя не заметил.
Он еще перезарядился, типа в этот момент Кирилл вышел. Ты видел, да? Когда я... Да. Я специально, ну потому что там бы дублик был бы, нахуй. Я уже рисковал, типа, да, нет, как говорится. Ну там, да, тебе не
значит
было бы, там что-то не сделал.
По текер тайм.
Ну, а я ж перезарядку увидел и услышал, но... Да, При этом еще в одном моменте мог Лаксиса убить, надо немножко разнанцевать. Зажал меня в угол, блядь.
Пиздоскованный какой-то, нахуй. Бостерный.
Нам, короче, только отмычку дали.
Да, только отмычку все.
Да, у них легкая миссия, по сути.
Сложно.
Сталкер?
Хуй знает.
Отмычка стоит. Дайте подъеду.
Легко до момента, пока мы не будем машины сильно напрягать. Нужно всегда, я думаю, нужно всегда кататься на машинах. Всегда прям еще машину под бак, пострелялся, сел, все такое.
Верно. Тоже.
Сейчас начнем.
And round 2 is ready to go. We've got all 3 members of Smartless back. Remember, they are on the attack, and this mission, Spare Wheels. It is a 1 objective steal location. I believe it is a vehicle. And it does look like the members of Smartless have made it there first, securing a perimeter first to make sure the defenders can't get set up and hopefully to provide support as counterweight goes for the item here. But Flogger is getting pushed here by Sarcasm. Good use of the Oscar there, out shooting the 45. Spytrack there getting conked perfectly there by Device, as Device gets caught out by the last member of GKINGs, desperately trying to defend this and not let Smartless have an easy first stage here. Sarcasm coming in to support Device on the push here, as Unia desperately tries to hold on, does manage to get the kill on Device. Here comes Sarcasm, does manage to get the kill. Last two members now of GKINGs have respawned, they've got their vehicle. They're going to desperately dive this and hopefully stop it. No, instead they opt to wait. They wait for the objective to be done so they can catch them as the stage turns over. Well, wasn't expecting that from the Vegas to just fly off on top of the Koi Wolf there. Interesting ramp. But the car has managed to get away, and I think they're going to safely drop this one off and make it to stage 3. Yes, indeed. Now then, Smartless will opt to go as quickly as possible and try to secure the vehicle as early as possible here to make it as difficult as imaginable for GKINGs to defend this and not let them set up at any point. As I say that, it does look like Unia is going to get a fantastic concussion grenade on the Kurai there, commandeered by Device, as the last two members of GKINGs will now make their way in. And to support Unia on this defense, Counterweight trying to go all the way through with the Fresno is going to get focus fired here, and Unia, he's not dead though. Counterweight has managed to pull a Houdini and managed to dodge that explosion, but not for long. Counterweight does get a pick on Unia, but Spytrack picks up the kill. It's now a 2v1 as Device starts to make his way back in. It does look like Sarcasm is just waiting around, looking for an opportunity, but ultimately waiting for both Device and Counterweight to make their way back in. It does look like the members of GKINGs have set up now. Spytrack kind of floating around looking for people pushing in from the northeast. Flogget now on the highway, watching directly above the objective, watching to see if Smartless will opt to go for the highway first and push through the porta cabins. Plenty of cover there to use, and it does look like they're going to do that, as Unia has spotted Flogget, managed to get a few little bursts on there. Unia does manage to get another kill here. Unia managing to kill Counterweight in his vehicle and get an N-Tech kill on Sarcasm. It's now a 3v1 as Device is left to fend for himself against the three defenders from GKINGs. Good use of the 45, fumbling a little bit, and Flogget coming out on top, winning that aim duel. 5 minutes left on the clock now. GKINGs holding on more comfortably this time round as opposed to the first stage. And it does look like once the GKINGs have set up, it's going to be a lot harder for Smartless to just rush in and take this. A pretty stalwart defense here from GKINGs. Let's hope they can keep it up for another 5 minutes. 5 minutes in APB is a hell of a long time, so we'll just have to wait and see how consistent and persistent they will be. Sarcasm here looking to try and get some sort of an approach or entry and a weakness in the defences of GKINGs, but they're holding well here. Spytrack getting the pick as Flogget using the OB to get a little bit of damage on Sarcasm there. 2v3 now, as Device does try to find Flogget again, does get a quick OB kill. They do blow up the car and reposition it onto the highway, and now they've been able to steal the car without any of the members of GKINGs being there to defend. They're going to sneak the item out, and I think they're going to get this to the drop safely. All three members of GKINGs are still at the old location of where the car was, and they're just trying to desperately rush over there. They're not able to get there in time, and we go to the final stage, which is a 1-point item hold. Now, if you know the rules for this tournament, the players are allowed to pick up the item, but they are not allowed to move it more than 15 meters. They are allowed to put it in a vehicle, but they are not allowed to let the vehicle move by any means, including pushing it with another vehicle. So, we'll have to wait and see what the teams decide to do here, whether they decide to leave the item in where it is at the moment, or move it somewhere just a little bit to make it harder for the teams to push in and just grab it. And it does look like Device is really in trouble here on his own, holding as hard as he can. It does look like GKINGs are going to sneak the item, try and at least get the item and a point first. Counterweight coming in clutch there from behind and taking up both Spytrack and Unia. Good distraction tactic there by Device, giving Counterweight ample time to sneak in and sweep. Flogget now trying to find an entryway into this little courtyard area. Opting not to kick the door yet. Keep his position hidden. Opting to go for it now. Try and sneak his way onto this little overlook balcony to see if he can get eyes on any of the defending members of Smartless. Device spotting him first, using the third-person camera to his advantage here. Flogget's in a lot of trouble. Even if he moves a little bit while crouching, his hitbox will go up a little bit. That will lip above the wall that he was hiding behind, and Device would have been able to get the kill, but he does manage to sneak all the way through. Device hasn't spotted this. I think he has now. Is going to try and get a nade kill on one of the other members there. Union now starting to push all the way up and grab the item, or at least try to move onto the item, as Counterweight is there supporting from behind Device. As Counterweight does get a fantastic nade kill on Unia, he had nowhere to go. Spytrack now filling up that position and trying to help push with Flogget from this direction. But the two members, Counterweight and Device from Smartless, are holding this comfortably. They have a pretty comfortable lead now on points on this item hold, so it's going to be a lot to play for if GKINGs manage to secure this and get the item back. And again, they might have to go into an overtime. This is what we feared. This is a repeat of the first round. GKINGs taking a long time to really make a push onto the point and just wasting valuable seconds as Smartless continue to gain a larger lead and thus make it much harder for the GKINGs to take this back and flip the victory here. Flogget getting a good grenade kill on Sarcasm as the last two members of Smartless able to get the pick there, as Nariko gets the kill on Flogget and Counterweight gets the pick on Spytrack. Flogget did manage to get a good grenade kill on Sarcasm, but Counterweight picking up the last member there of GKINGs, and Smartless once again getting another team wipe. 3 minutes left on the clock, 68 points down out of a possible 120. They've only got 2 minutes left on the clock before they secure the win for the second round. But if somehow GKINGs are able to take this, then it'll be overtime and GKINGs will have to hold it for quite some time. In fact, it'll depend on how many points they have left. I'll update you if GKINGs manage to get to that point. But again, they are wasting valuable seconds and valuable time. They're not giving themselves time to really push on to this. They're spending a lot of time thinking about how they're going to move in, how they're going to push in, and as the time ticks away, the points increase, that lead increases, and thus the overtime is going to be even longer. Nariko having a bit of a fight there with Spytrack. Nariko does manage to get the jump shot kill with the OB on Spytrack, and now there's an aim duel going on between Flogget and Device. Both the streamers having at each other. OB is coming in clutch there as Sarcasm tries to get an nade onto Flogget there. Flogget returns the grenade. Favor. It lands right next to Sarcasm. Sarcasm does manage to get away. The few good OB shots onto Sarcasm, but not enough to secure the kill there. Counterweight does get a pick on Unia. And finally, Sarcasm waits just long enough to get the kill. There's only 14 points left in it. I think this is a second round win for Smartless again. GKINGs just not mobilizing on that final stage, and this measured approach is not going to secure these wins. Smartless are far more mobile, and this is what's getting the wins for them. They are able to outmaneuver the GKINGs at every turn, and as a result, this is why they're able to win here. Again, a good kill there from Device and securing the second round win. Pretty convincing there, and we're starting to see a huge flaw in the GKINGs approach as Smartless have got their number. And they are able to capitalize on this situation, and that they do. A very convincing 2-0 lead here for Smartless. Again, GKINGs are going to have to change it up if they want to stay in this. They are definitely going to have to change up their strategy here if they want to get a single round off Smartless, or we're going to see yet again another 4-0 victory from them. It's not looking good for you viewers. You thought the GKINGs had a pretty convincing chance to win against Smartless. In fact, the votes were 70% in favour of GKINGs, 30% in favour of Smartless. And as I said at the start, I had a feeling Smartless were going to win this one. And so far, that prediction is coming true, unfortunately. I was hoping for a much closer fight, but again, still all to play for. GKINGs on the attack for round 3 as we wait for the teams to get ready once again.
Что, они поехали, что ли? Куда они уехали?
У нас, кстати, блядь, замена нахуй оффлайн была, если что. Я уже в курсе.
Шаловый Хайзен криминально хочет по другим?
Мгм.
Вася, он извиняюсь.
Смотри нахуй, без алфан будешь со своим
Нет,
плачем.
я стрелял, что игра будет.
А подожди, именно до третьего надо было, да?
Не, до нуля скидывай. И до того, как ты третий звук поднимешь, тебе показывать, как будто выше.
Я синсайдер. Ну что, скажешь, что еще гранату можно типа отменить?
Ну это уже блядь баян. Есть теперь
такая...
еще одна имба, которую могу заколить. Чё?
Давай.
Не, давай ты.
Нормально все?
Говорит, вы видели,
Пойдёт.
где Devil Dog сидит?
А, блядь.
А вы говорили, только я не знаю.
Кто у нас сейчас за атака будет?
Так, колю свою имбу. Мы всегда выигрываем 2 первые миссии у них, а потом совсем хуй.
Давай,
Следующие 2 миссии, так что, блядь, соберитесь нахуй.
Так же играем, все охуенно.
Типа, расфан надо убрать.
Да, это, конечно, заготовочка на торстионное оружие у Холсей нормально такая. Вообще не контрится нихуя.
Они уже волнуются, я прям чувствую, когда я их блочил нахуй, что
Лони Доренго, ебаный. Мы проебать это можно сейчас.
For the GKINGs, their next attack mission will be Lonnie Durango is crazy.
Больше доставки.
Looks like Smartless are ready to go here.
Телефон.
Just waiting for confirmation from the GKINGs.
Так что не расстраивайтесь.
Там 2 секунды точки делаются.
Да, они мгновенно делаются.
Готовы мы?
Нормально играем.
Да.
Просто
Ебать, выдохнем.
Точки нормально делаются.
Давайте, погнали.
Кто там пишет? Следующая миссия.
The GKINGs are ready. Round 3 is about to start any second now, and here we go. Round 3. Lonnie Durango is crazy. GKINGs on the attack. Smartless on the defense. Both teams getting there at roughly the same time this time, having a bit of a car duel as we get to the first stage. 2 bugs need to be planted for the enforcers here before they can go to the next stage. And they're both right next to each other. They are telephone booths. Flogger getting a double kill there on both Spytrack and one of the members of Smartless there. Counterweight picking up the kill there on Flogger. I can confirm he did manage to get the kill on Sarcasm. Counterweight getting the kill on Flogger. Unia getting the kill on Nariko. And a grenade kill on Counterweight. And it does look like the members of GKINGs are going to secure the first objective here. It was a very interesting kerfuffle, but they are calmly taking both objectives here as Spytrack watches out for them. And there we are, stage 1 convincingly taken by GKINGs. Much better approach this time, much more aggressive. I think they're a little bit more confident now, and hopefully they'll take that confidence all the way through to the last stage. We've seen them good in the early stages, but it's the last stage that always gets them. And we know that Smartless's last stage prowess is something to be feared. What a fantastic nade there by Flogger. I have to point that out. That was incredible prediction. Channeling is in a dopefish there a little bit from 2012, as once again they do manage to get the second stage here quite convincingly. Spytrack getting a pick there on one of the members of Smartless, as Spytrack does get picked off there by Nariko. Good use of the 45, good tracking and aiming. He's going to win the same duel. No, he's going to fumble it, as Flogget remains cool, calm and collected and gets that important kill there as they start to make their way quickly, more quickly this time than we've seen in the last 2 rounds, towards the next stage. Junior already in position to strike. Flogget just getting in position here with support with Spytrack, and they're just trying to find the last member of Smartless before they move in. Again, they shouldn't fear too much, just push in, be aggressive, get that all-important position and go, because the more time they waste, the remaining members of Smartless have respawned and will make their way in. And here come the nades. Unia does get the kill on Sarcasm finally. Counterweight is still in the area though. They'll need to be careful as Nariko is now starting to make his way in from behind. Gets a perfect enfilade on the entire team. Isn't really able to do too much with it. Unia getting the pick on Counterweight there. Spytrack getting the pick on Nariko. And GKINGs this time get the team wipe on Smartless and secure stage 3 comfortably. A much better aggressive approach here from the GKINGs. Will they do the same thing again on the last stage? Will we see them do it on the last stage? This is the important part. Next stage is just a checkpoint, 5 minutes on the clock, but this will convert very quickly, so this shouldn't take the G-Kings too long. We'll just have to wait and see if Smartless can make it to the drop-off first, or the checkpoint first. But I think they may opt not to defend this. In fact, they're not. It looks like G-Kings are just going to take this without any opposition. And there we are. Stage 5 is a medium item, and this will again be a scavenger hunt. A yaw drop there, drop 1 item hold, but it does look like Smartless, on the other hand, opted not to defend, and they managed to get the item early. They're looking to use that quick, aggressive play to get the early point lead on the last stage once again, utilising the fact that G-Kings are a bit naff on last stage and take a little bit too long to do anything. They're now... well, there's only one word for it, capitalising on the situation. So, it does look like the G-King members are starting to make their way in and stop this early push for the last stage, and able to do so. Nariko getting the pick there on Junia. Really good use of the 45 by Nariko this match. Well, yes, through this match. And it does look like Sarcasm is going to try and sneak the item out as he gets supported by both Counterweight and Device. They are going to try and sneak the item out as Flogget now desperately tries to dive in with a Fresno and potentially stop the item carrier as he's stuck in the corridor and does get picked off by the OB. Counterweight does get the pick on Spy Track here. They are going to try and get the item now, but the members of Smartless are hot on their heels. This time Device not fumbling or choking, putting those shots in place. But unfortunately Spytrack is there to pick him off. And Spytrack now is going to try and get a nade on the last member of Smartless, who's putting a lot of damage down on Spytrack, not really able to do much. Counterweight holding the opposite side of the hallway as they fight it out. Spytrack getting the kill on Nariko there, and Sarcasm. Spytrack finally winning that stalemate as Flogget there is going to support Spytrack as he pushes to grab the item here. Junia in close proximity as well, and the members of Smartless still nearby. They're not near the item, but they are waiting for G-Kings to take the item out of the hallway, and it looks like they're going to try to. What a fantastic distraction there. Fantastic nade by Flogget as Junia goes in to try and pick up the item. Sorry, Spytrack goes in to pick up the item, does get killed by Counterweight, but that nade was all they needed, and they were able to pick up that defender, and subsequently they've been able to move the item now, and are going to get, for the first time, an early lead on the last stage. This is the first time they've done it this match, and we'll have to wait and see what Smartless do now, whilst they're at the disadvantage. We'll have to see what their aggressive play chalks up to, as the G-Kings now have time to set up and defend properly. And we have seen the G-King defense be quite formidable when they're set up, but if Smartless are able to keep the G-Kings on their toes and distracted, then that might be all they need to turn this around. Only 90 points to get this time. That's only going to take them 180 seconds, or 3 minutes. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock here, as the defenders are eager to try and defend as much as possible. But you may have heard that wasn't you, that was one of the members of Smartless, as Device, I think, had a small error there and alt-tabbed and got picked off as a result. Sarcasm getting the pick on Junia there, though. Junia getting the pick on Nariko. They are trying to push onto the item and push onto the drop-off of G-Kings, but unable to do too much. Counterweight does get the pick on Spytrack, though. And they are able to take the item off the point. Both Sarcasm and Counterweight both there providing support, as Smartless now looking to dive into their point, but G-Kings are distracting them and disrupting them quite successfully here. They're going to opt to go the long way round. Maybe not the best idea. The Koi Wolf is not the fastest thing in a straight line, and with a medium item in the car, it's going to slow it down even more. They are getting tagged quite heavily here. The car is very critically damaged. It will blow up any second. They're going to have to jump out as all 3 members of G-Kings pushing. Fantastic nade there by Sarcasm, picking up 2 members in the Vegas of belonging to the G-Kings. Now Counterweight and Sarcasm trying to get some damage onto Flogget's Paka Soresco, as Device is clear, manages to get onto the item drop off for Smartless, securing the bag, literally, and now the points are adding up for Smartless. Will they be able to hold it long enough to convert this to a victory and win the 3rd round? Or will the G-Kings come back and grab the item just before? Are we going to see a reverse of how Smartless made it to the semi-final? Let's see. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, and the G-Kings now desperate to get this item. They're going to try and sneak it out, possibly, or just dive in and stop it, but no, Sarcasm is there. Oh, and a bit of a fumble there by Sarcasm. Flogger just being able to freely run him over. Good kill there. Manages to kill Counterweight as well, but Nadeko is there defending, does manage to get the kill on Flogger. They do manage to take the item off the point though. Nadeko not able to get the kill, and it does look like... who is that? Unia was able to get the item off the point and secure it behind a corner, as Spytrack now trying to come in and defend, but Nadeko unfortunately able to get the kill there, thus making it difficult for G-Kings to get the item out. Good nade there by Counterweight, but not really doing too much. Sarcasm now jumping in, taking out Unia, as Smartless able to keep the item nearby. Flogger does manage to get a kill on Sarcasm now, and will defend this from a distance as Counterweight pushes up to try and push him off, as Nadeko will try to secure the bag. And Counterweight now, using the car to his advantage, manages to catch Flogger without any cover. He doesn't manage to get back into the car in time, and thus Smartless will try to drop this item off again, but both Unia and Spytrack are now in position to nade the drop-off relentlessly and defend it against all costs here. Very, very close once again. They have been able to hold it with only a point difference. A single point difference. The G-Kings are in the lead by a mere 2 seconds. And if Smartless are able to drop this item off for just 2 seconds, they will win this. Or at least take this to a tie. Of which this means the mission will have to be replayed. They do manage to sneak it into the car though. Only 45 seconds left on the clock. If they are able to get the item out far enough, they might just be able to secure a win here against Smartless. But they are going to need to get the item far enough away that they will not be able to take the item and go back. Union and Spytrack getting a kill on both Nadeko and Counterweight. This might be it, and it does look like the G-King's measured approach, but slightly more aggressive, is going to secure this third round win. 24 seconds left on the clock. They've managed to get it back to their drop-off. They drop it off, securing that victory. I think this was a much needed win here for G-Kings. It's going to take a little bit of the pressure off, as the last few seconds of the round tick down. No answer from Smartless here. I think they've given up. And G-Kings securing the bag for round 3. 2-1 to Smartless. A much better outing there from the G-Kings, able to secure a very vital win here, because at a 3-0 deficit, it's going to be difficult for them. And as it is round 3, we are going to let both teams now swap factions. So Smartless will now swap from Criminals to Enforcers, and the G-Kings will return to their roots, going from Enforcer to Criminal. But I think that win for the G-Kings was vital. It's going to give them a little bit of confidence knowing that they can secure wins against Smartless, and that all-out aggression that Smartless employ, and their much more flexible and floaty playstyle may come to bite them in the backside here. I think the G-Kings are starting to work out a battle plan here to tackle this team, and we might see something very interesting in the next 3 rounds. And then after that, if we still haven't got a clear victor, we go to that all-important tiebreaker. Oh yes, more to be revealed if we get there. So, the G-Kings will need to secure at least 3 more wins. So all next 3 rounds have to be won by the G-Kings if they want to secure the victory. But for Smartless, they only need 2 more. So it is definitely all to play for, but advantage Smartless. And once again, if you have just tuned in, welcome to the CET 2022 Series APB Reloaded Tournament with $2,100 prize on the line. 8 magnificent teams have fought their way to the semi-finals, but only 4 have made it through. Godsting securing a very convincing victory against Venia. Smartless in their first round securing the bag against Ultimate Matori. G-Kings again sweeping Last Chance 4-0. And Slayham putting on a clinic against Lovers in the Air, despite multiple chances for Lovers in the Air to secure a win, fumbling at the crucial moment. And as you tuned in, we are on the first of our 2 semi-final brackets. Smartless versus G-Kings, 2-1 to Smartless. The viewers voted that they thought G-Kings were going to secure this pretty convincingly at a 70% to 30% vote difference. But, as we've seen so far, Smartless's strategy has proven much more successful. But the GKINGs have now changed their strategy. They are playing a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more confidently as well. And I think we're going to see a little bit of a change here. And it may turn out that the viewer's prediction comes true and we see a reverse sweep from the GKINGs. We're just waiting for both teams now to quickly swap over. This is the 10-minute break, so if you need to grab a drink, go to the toilet, now would be the best time. And we will see you here shortly, in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. And it looks like we're about to get started here, so it's back to the feeds for you as we start round 4. The next mission will be dealer busts. Smartless will be on the attack. And we will return you to the feeds right now. Once again, as a reminder, Device is the POV for Smartless, and Flogget is the POV for GKINGs. You can follow their Twitch, as that is the feeds that we are watching today. So, let's return you back to the all-important match for round 4.
Готово? Ебать, там время 240 секунд, это сколько? На 4 минуты? Там 4 минуты не так.
Давай, погнали.
Че?
Нормально или тут?
Да нормально. Типа, вдруг там что-то еще попадется на тоже самом посту.
Ну да.
Что за первый этап?
And here we go, round 4. Once again, Smartless on the attack, GKINGs on the defense. The mission, dealer busts. It's a raid followed by a car theft, followed by a drop-off, a pickup, another drop-off, and then an item hold, should we get that far. Now then, both teams opting to take different paths to the objective here. It does look like GKING's opting to take the highway first,
Там точка один будет.
and hopefully secure the overwatch on the objective, and able to do so as Flogget does manage to spot one of the members of Smartless trying to take the point early here. Were able to stop them. Pirelli able to get the kill on Lani there. Arant's now getting a push here on Flogger. Just for ease, I'm probably going to just refer to their in-game names just to make it easier to follow. Otherwise, remembering all of this is going to be a nightmare. Pirelli does manage to get the kill on Arant's there for the GKINGs. And they are holding this pretty well, despite being rushed to the defense. Zygrain or Flogget were able to get to a vantage point and stop the early cap there, thwarting the Smartless quick aggression strategy quite effectively. But it does look like Smartless now trying to push in from the overpass and provide some pressure to the defending members of the GKINGs left up there. Some good shots on, but the car has been destroyed. They are going to run out of cover soon if they're not careful. Not the greatest place for them to take the fight, honestly. Both Laxus and Zygrain holding the overpass quite comfortably. All action is on them as Alani tries to desperately dive in and break the stalemate. Does manage to get all the way behind, doesn't really do anything with it. The car's now flipped. He's probably going to opt to jump out here, but does manage to get away safely as Zygrain now does a bit of damage on the vehicle. Neither side losing a player just yet, but good nade there on Laxus by, I think, Alani, and Alani, using his second nade, does get the kill there. They are starting to make some progress here on the overpass, getting a bit of damage off there. Zygrain on Alani as he tries to repair his car and get back in. The final member of Smartless has actually taken the roof of the Enforcer building and is opting to hopefully defend from there, as the remaining members of GKINGs are getting forcibly pushed away from the objective. Alani keeping Flogger at bay here and does manage to secure the kill. Smartless, on the other hand, now having a pretty good control of the location, but will have one member or two members of GKINGs to contend with here, as Pirelli does manage to take out Arentz. So it is a 2v2 once again, and they're opting not to really do anything with it. Trying to hold their position, keep what they have, and then move in when they're in a much more advantageous position. Meanwhile, the members of GKINGs are starting to float around, keeping themselves as obscure as they can, but not for Alani. Picking up the kill there on Zygrain, or Flogger. Meanwhile, they're still holding above as Arentz is now starting to make his way towards the objective. It looks like Alani's going to try and take the objective here, as Pirelli is still holding the roofs under the overpass, but does get picked up swiftly by Naruko's OBIR. So, Alani's going to go do the point now as Arentz provides cover from the northwest, although that angle is being shot at by two members of GKINGs as they hold that angle quite comfortably, but it's not going to be enough as the members of Smartless work together, providing plenty of meat shields there for Naruko to take the objective. Now, they've got two vehicles to seize here, both Kurais. They're pretty close to where they were before, so if they can keep their quick aggression up, this should be a walk in the park for them, but it does look like the members of GKINGs are starting to make their way back in, trying to disrupt the control that the Smartless have over the objective area before they move back in. But Smartless might opt to just go for it here. It looks like Alani is going to try and dive on one of the Kurais here early, as Naruko provides defense support from above, but it's no good. Laxus gets a perfect concussion grenade on Alani, but Zygrain does manage to spot Naruko and drop him before he can do anything, so Smartless again still holding position comfortably here, but the last two members of GKINGs still holding firm, not letting Smartless really make any progress here whatsoever. Both Pirelli and Laxus kind of floating in between C and B here. As Zygrain tries to make his way back in here, Naruko still holding the overpass, looking for the last few members, does spot Laxus. Laxus might be in trouble here if he doesn't get down. Good course correction there, manages to pick off Laxus there, good job by Naruko. Alani does get the picks on Pirelli. GKING Zygrain is the last member alive to hold both these objectives. They are going to secure B comfortably, but he does have an angle on C if he can spot it in time, which he doesn't. Arentz does manage to pick up the item, and now they just need to stop those two vehicles from being dropped off. But Naruko has been caught out by Flogger, who is trying to stop him from really making any sort of move here. Other way round, my mistake, sorry. Naruko able to hold one of the defenders at bay as they are left out of position, not able to support the defence. And as a result, Smartless are now running away with it once again. That aggression really coming in and proving to be the deciding factor here as they move to stage 4 straight away. Both members of Smartless and GKINGs in the area, and we're going to have a shootout here. Both streamers having at it as Laxus makes his way in now to try and provide support for Zygrain as he makes his way in. Good nade there by Laxus, and they are going to defend this item. They are opting to defend it. 3 minutes 30 left on the clock, so not a lot of time here for Smartless to do too much, but 3 minutes should be plenty of time if they can keep the aggression up. But if the GKINGs can provide their tried and tested stalwart defense like before, then this could be interesting. Though I think Smartless are going to opt to try and sneak the item out here as best as they can, or at least distract the defenders of GKINGs enough so that one member slips through the cracks and sneaks the item out. Bit of exchange of grenades here as both streamers catch each other. That is a perfect concussion grenade again by Naruko on Zygrain, and he's low. He's not going to want to peek or push any of this. It's a shame. If they had another grenade, that would have been all Zygrain wrote, but he has spotted one of the members of Smartless now. Alani does get the pick on Pirelli. It's a 3v2 now as both Zygrain and Laxus opt to try and hold their positions as best as can rather than repositioning and re-coordinating here. And the members of Smartless actually taking a page out of the GKING's book here, opting to take a measured approach. Isolate, eliminate, and then take the item. Less aggressive than they have done before, and they are getting caught out by it as the members of GKING start to sneak their way back in to try and defend this from behind. Nonetheless, Alani trying to sneak in, but Laxus does get the kill there. Naruko and Arentz are the last two up. Arentz is nearby the item, might try to sneak it out or aim duel Laxus for the item, whereas Naruko is still distracted by one member of GKINGs, not sure who. But it looks like Flogger is going to try and make his way back in here in a moment as Arentz does get picked up by Laxus there. Naruko not able to make the kill. But both Alani and Naruko in position, but here comes Flogget from the overpass, flanking Naruko. Alani does get the pick on Pirelli, but Laxus gets the kill on Alani. The GKINGs getting a convincing team wipe there. And once again, this is what I was saying in the halftime. Is this a resurgence for G-Kings? Are they going to be able to balance the books and take the lead here? And possibly take it all the way to the tiebreaker? Both teams desperately trying to find angles on each other. As Nadeko does get a quick burst onto Zygrain there, but not really able to do too much. The other two members of Smartless now pushing from another angle. That is a very good position there taken by, I think it's Pirelli. Yes, it's by Pirelli, who's holding the highway on his own. A very good point to hold from, because it will spot the Smartless members sneaking in. But they've snuck the item! And as you saw, they snuck the item without them paying attention. There was the distraction tactic in play for all to see. Fantastic maneuver there by Smartless. They were up against it. They didn't have a lot of time left, but they were able to sneak it out. Very clever play there. Arendt's getting a pick on Zygrain. That's counterweight. Alani getting a pick on Pirelli there. Laxus does pick up Nadeko, but it isn't enough, and they are able to get the item out. So now it's going to be down to G-Kings to defend this drop-off. 3 minutes 30 on the clock again. Not a lot of time, but an APB, 3 minutes is plenty for these good teams. So we move back over to the Smartless perspective here, and they are going to move together to get the item to the drop. They have no idea what to expect, and again, not really sure where the members of G-Kings are. Laxus is kind of floating out in the ether. Pirelli is close to the drop-off and can support it, but not in the right position to do so if they try to dive in. Laxus finally joining up with his G-King team members here to defend the objective. Meanwhile, here comes Smartless all together as one. Line stolen from Gladiator there, apologies. But here we go, they're going to split up and look for clues like Scooby-Doo. And they are going to try and pincer maneuver here, push from both angles and throw them off as to where the item actually is, because the defenders can't see where that item is at any point. So if they are able to sneak the item onto the drop-off, that would be ideal. And it looks like they're doing exactly that. They're trying to push in very quickly and aggressively onto the point from the inside of the hallway and just sneak the item on, but they have to be careful because there are people on the Enforcer building looking. Alani's already caught it though, spotted it, and in the meantime, Device drops the item for Smartless, and we go to a final stage 1 point item hold yet again. 120 points on the clock. 120 points on the clock. 120 points up for grabs. 6 minutes 45 seconds on the clock. And once again, it'll be down to whichever team is holding the item at the end and has the most points will win. So, will Smartless take this to a 3-1 lead, or will G-Kings pull out the unbelievable and balance the books to make it 2-2? Both teams now fighting at the highway, as the G-Kings do have an early lead here, have managed to sneak the item and grab it. Pirelli not really paying attention there, as Nadeko is going to just quickly sneak onto the item and drop it. Flogger is now trying to push onto the other two members of Smartless who are holding the car park, but I don't think they realise that Nareko's just quickly snuck on and taken the item, which he has indeed. Nadeko now opting not to run all the way in and back. He's going to hold short near the item and open up some of the doorways there so other members can go through. Alani there getting picked up by Zygrain, but Arendt's now pushing in with an NFA. The first time we've actually seen the NFA 9 in the tournament. A very powerful secondary. Fully automatic, one of the fastest killing secondaries in the game, but incredibly inaccurate unless you're shoving the barrel of the gun down the person's throat. Good use of it though. Very good use of it indeed. Very effective. Able to get both Zygrain and Laxus there. So Smartless once again securing the early lead here and retaking the lead moreover from the very early lead from G-Kings. 5 minutes 25 on the clock as the members of G-Kings are now approaching from every angle imaginable by the looks of it, as the members of Smartless simply biding their time, watching angles, seeing where they're coming from, and I'm sure those initial encounters are going to happen now as Flogger has changed to an HVR, does get a good hit onto Alani but doesn't do a lot of damage. Remember, the HVR has got that damage ramp up based on how accurate it is, so if you fire the HVR while it has barely any accuracy, it won't do any damage at all, I believe. Unless that got changed, I can't remember. Apologies if I'm spreading misinformation, but here we go. Interesting jump shots there from the 45, but Pirelli not taking any of the nonsense, picking up clean and carefully, as the G-Kings take the item back and are now closing that point deficit. 4 minutes 30 on the clock. A complete role reversal as the G-Kings get a team wipe onto Smartless. Smartless now on the back foot in the next 8 seconds as Alani gets picked off by Zygrain's HVR. Smartless trying to make a move here, but as G-Kings pick off the spawns, it's going to be very difficult for them to push onto this item and push the members of G-Kings off. 4 minutes 10 on the clock now, and the G-Kings have retaken the lead on points as they hold the item, and here comes the push from Smartless. They are able to get both. Laxus is able to get both there. Both Nadeko and Arents go down from Laxus's magnificent 45 and N-Tech combination there. Zygrain providing a tag with the HVR to support the kill on Nadeko, and then Pirelli helping Arents, but Nadeko did get the kill on Pirelli, so it is a 2v1. But there's not much more Smartless can do here at the moment. They still got plenty of time to turn this around and possibly take this to overtime and secure the win. But G-Kings are holding pretty strong here. This is going to be difficult for Smartless to make maneuvers, and they are kind of struggling a little bit now. They're not all together, they're not as coordinated, not as organised, and G-Kings on the other hand seem much more relaxed, much calmer, much more coordinated on this defense than we've seen in a match. But anything could happen. Smartless could try something completely different and really throw things off, but they are taking a leaf out of the G-Kings book, just running the time down and not really doing anything here, but it does look like they're just trying to get their members into position, as it looks like some information has gotten through to the G-Kings and they have spotted Nadeko in the car park. Lax is coming up to support. Pirelli starting to move up as well to put some pressure onto Nadeko. I don't think they realise where the other two members of Smartless are, as they have tried to sneak onto the item and have done so. Smartless have snuck onto the item and taken it. Laxus does get the kill on Arents though, as Zygrain does provide a decent tag there, trying to damage the Vegas with the HVRs. Alani sneaks onto the point now and retakes the item. Laxus does get the kill though. Alani does get the grenade kill on Pirelli, making it a 1v2. G-Kings do manage to get the item back and thus extend their lead further with 2 minutes 15 left on the clock, as Nadeko is just distracting Zygrain, but again, unfortunately, because the other two teammates of Smartless died, it doesn't really benefit him that much here. Arents now manages to get an angle onto Nadeko, but does get tagged. He won't be able to fight too much, as Smartless now dives onto the point, grabs the point, and is now holding from inside as the other two members, Laxus and Pirelli, try to push in. But they're out of position here, and it might be a little bit difficult and dangerous for them to push in. They have spotted Nadeko here, and he could be in trouble if he fumbles, but he has got some good hits on, but Laxus doesn't fumble under pressure. He takes out Alani and Nadeko as Zygrain makes his way back in, and the G-Kings really running away with this one actually. 102 points, 1 minute 30 left on the clock. This is going to be the last push from Smartless, because they only have, well, they have 35, 34, 40 seconds left on the clock, sorry. No, sorry, 20 seconds left on the clock. There's only 10 points in it. Nadeko getting picked off there by a... Zygrain getting picked off by Nadeko there. Sorry, I'm completely out of it trying to work out maths. But it does look like G-Kings are going to secure the retake here, but hang on a minute. It does look like Smartless have been able to retake the item here. And the G-Kings are now on the back foot with only 50 seconds left on the clock. Could Smartless hold on to this and possibly win this on overtime? Pirelli coming in now. Alani does get the pick on Laxus. Pirelli getting the pick on Arents there, as now Nadeko's in trouble as the members of the G-Kings start to encircle his position with an HVR tagged and trained on him. Pirelli now providing support as Nadeko dives out and gets out of dodge, but is quickly chased by Pirelli, both using epinephrine. Pirelli getting the kill on Arents, and Nadeko, Flogger now pushing in with the G-Kings to secure the win here, most likely, as Alani holds on for dear life. Pirelli finally getting the 3-man ace, and the G-Kings taking round 4. A fantastic last push by Smartless there, but not enough, as the G-Kings are now bringing it back. They balance the books. It is 2-2. What an incredible match so far. It genuinely looked like Smartless were going to run away with it, but as we've seen in the last 2 rounds, G-Kings have really stepped it up a notch. And they've answered Smartless completely, down to every single nuance. So now Smartless have to come up with something different, otherwise the G-Kings are going to run away with this. Could this be a reverse sweep? We'll have to wait and see. This is exciting even for me, honestly.
Это
Охуенно.
пиздец, легкие миссии вообще.
Блять, сказал же, купи наушники, сходи. Сейчас, 2 минуты.
GKINGs are going to be elated with that victory, definitely, and are probably, well, they've got the momentum now, and that's crucial. Something that isn't talked about a lot in competitive play is momentum. If you're a team that's just come off a win, you're going to have that confidence and that slight ego boost that might be needed to make those riskier decisions and take those riskier chances, and thus potentially sharpen your aim just that little bit to secure wins and those all-important kills and those stages to win the match. But ultimately, Smartless are in the worst position they can be in now after losing 2 matches in a row, and it's closer to victory for both teams now. They are really going to have to go back to the drawing board and think about what they can do differently. But this is now advantage GKINGs. They have the momentum on their side. Will they snowball to a 4-2 reverse sweep on Smartless? Time will tell as the teams get ready for round 5.
Алло. Да? О.
Ты снова готовый или ты ушел развивать?
Я тут, я чай пью просто.
Да.
Серый тут?
Так что они там ready, не?
Ну, я только что приехал. Вы говорите, какая миссия, там все дела.
А вы какие чаи
подошел.
пьете? Чаи пьете? Какой ты пьешь?
Шипишь. Ну, не знаю,
В Арсенал?
А за Арсенал-то что?
Называется по-русски. Что там? А,
Короче,
это ж...
Тут 3
Там
точки.
просто двери ломать и айтем доставать.
Ставьте фомку.
For round 5, the GKINGs will be on the attack, and they will be playing the mission up the arse. No. Just waiting for both teams to get ready here, get their equipment in order, and have all players ready to go. And for those in Twitch and chat, the viewers at home, we have a poll currently live in the chat, so vote on who you think is going to win the upcoming mission. Will the GKINGs secure the bag and take a 3-2 lead and advantage them on match point, or will Smartless come back and take it to match point once again? Will this be a repeat of the match they had against Ultimate Rhetori? We'll find out in just a moment.
Ломик надо брать.
Ломик, да?
Да.
У меня ломик, кусачки и канистра.
Поставили, да, снарягу?
Какой еще? Ломик и что еще?
Фомка и все. Сейчас я перепроверю, подожди.
У меня игра сворачивается который раз уже. Это нормально,
Кусачки
что
нахуй.
игра
Поставьте
сворачивается.
туда, отмыть.
So far, from the viewers at home, it does look like you think the GKINGs are going to snowball this. I'm still convinced that Smartless are going to take this bag and make it all the way to the finals, but we'll have to wait and see. Does look like both teams are pretty much ready to go here. The GKINGs in their cars, ready and waiting. Smartless pretty much ready to go here by the looks of it.
Сразу ебашимся. Ну, в смысле... Поддерживаем темп просто. Вроде расслабляемся, так же играем.
Надо сейчас посмотреть, где точка, и занимать позицию сначала, не в точку ехать. Ну, хотя бы одного, потихоньку будем играть.
Не забываем канал.
And the mission has started. Once again, GKINGs on the attack, Smartless on the defense. Up the arsenal. It is a 2 burglary stage for stage 1. And it does look like both teams are opting to go onto the highway here, but it does look like Device is going to drive straight towards the points. And you just missed it, I do apologise, but Alani got dropped by a fantastic concussion grenade there by Zygrain, caught the Koi Wolf on the strafe there as he was driving past. Fantastic coordination and timing of that concussion grenade. As they do spot one other member of Smartless now, do manage to pick off a Rents. Last member, Nadeko, now in a lot of trouble here, kind of out of position, does have cover 4B. does manage to pick up Laxus. Alani has respawned close by using one of the car spawners, but... sorry, not one of the car spawners, he just got a close spawn. But the other members of GKING now encircling, trying to find the last two defenders of Smartless before they move in on the objectives here. Pirelli trying to take a position, but getting shot at there by Nadeko, I believe, as Zygrain being a whopping big red target for Smartless here to focus on, as the other members of GKING try to sneak in. Nadeko does get the pick on Pirelli finally, as Zygrain just drives off and is opting to go onto the overpass here, and hopefully get an angle on Nadeko and thwart that defensive position. But it looks like he's going to be found, as another member, Laxus, has found Nadeko. Alani has found Zygrain though, and will try to stop him from doing anything here, and will just put damage down onto the Koi Wolf. Again, it doesn't have a lot of health, and they are using high burn point fuel as well as armoured engine, I believe, which means that the vehicle will not go on fire and will stay not on fire for longer. But that does mean once the car is smoking, it won't take long for the car to explode, giving the players inside less time to get out to safety. But the high burn fuel does help, as the car's explosion does not cause any damage, so they are able to use it as immediate cover if they need it. Now, looks like the members of GKING are going to opt to push the overpass again. Smartless dug in, entrenched and waiting. Nadeko just floating around in between A and B, changing his position frequently to make it difficult for the GKING to pin him down. Getting some nades there onto A, as he hasn't got any information other than one of the members of GKING is now starting to sneak his way onto the objective. It looks like Pirelli is trying to sneak A out. Nadeko does spot him. Flogger misses an HVR shot on him, unfortunately, as Alani is trying to distract the two members on the highway. Is proving to be successful, as his car is smoking now, does get caught by Laxus and Zygrain there. Good efficient distraction though, wasting time. 1 minute 55 left on the clock now, as Nadeko turns around to put some pressure on. Pirelli now back into the fight, does manage to get the kill on Arentz. It's a 3v1 now in favour of the GKING as they push in. Pirelli now taking the A point. Nadeko not really able to do anything. Here comes Flogger from behind, trying to get onto the B point, is going to try and stop Nadeko from defending this. Gets an early nade out, but Nadeko is going to dive straight on and stop him from getting that. Good tracking there from Nadeko, gets some good damage on, but Laxus comes from behind to drop him. Outmaneuvers, outflanks him. Much better play here from GKING as they secure the second burglary there and move on to stage 2. They'll need to drop off both items here. Alani coming back in, picking off Alexis. Sorry, Laxus, not Alexis, sorry. And little bit of a scrap going on for these two items now. Zygrain is going to get this item out to safety, most likely, or maybe try to drop it off early. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if the members of Smartless know where the other item is, but it sounds like they don't, as all members of the GKING have actually driven away from the item, possibly to try and distract Smartless from where the small item is, but I suspect they may know where it is, as they are still in the area waiting to see what GKING do here. Arentz trying to throw a nade onto Zygrain there, trying to catch him off guard, to no avail, swing and a miss. Bit of a fumble there by Zygrain, missing an important HVR shot there on Arentz. Smartless now trying to take out the car spawners of GKING and opting to still defend this item. They're trying to sneak the item out and go straight through, but no luck. Laxus dives straight in, gets caught out for it. Zygrain pushing Nadeko as well, getting caught out for it as well. Alani providing good support there. Smartless holding this down pretty comfortably. There's only 3 minutes 35 left on the clock. Again, plenty of time for GKING to turn this about, but we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do here. Pirelli on his own there, not really able to do too much. Zygrain getting a GG spawn HVR shot onto one of the members of Smartless there, I didn't see which. Pirelli there getting a few tags on from Nadeko, as Zygrain gets tagged by Nadeko there a little bit. Not a lot to sway him though, as he keeps pushing forward, tries to get a nade onto one of the defending members. Bit of a fumble on the nade there. Arents does get the kill on Pirelli though. As Smartless now changes his tactics, changes his sights to Laxus, gets caught out by the HVR. Nanako now getting pushed by Arents, does get the kill on Arents though. Zygrain really going for it. It's a 1v1 now as the last members of GKING and Smartless try to spot each other and catch each other out. Zygrain managing to get the kill on Alani there, gets an ace on Smartless and will need to use this time now to move the items as quickly as possible. But it does look like the members of Smartless are starting to make their way in, but are getting caught at spawn by the other members of GKING. So one of the items is secure. And the second item is secure now as Pirelli takes the second item now. They're going to have to try and rush away from this as the members of Smartless did not get the best spawns. GKING are going to get a free cap here to go to the third stage. A notorious location this for VIP if you've played APB back in the day. This little courtyard area, a notorious area for item holds. Very difficult to attack in some occasions, and sometimes much harder to defend, depending on who you're up against. That being said, they are straight on to stage 3 now, a single raid point, and the members of Smartless will probably make it there first. They were late to the drop-off, but they will be first to the raid. Zygrain swapping back to the OBIR there, as the members of Smartless now making their way to the next objective, looking to set up a defense here and looking to defend both sides of the road and probably have one person inside to hold short near the objective. Well, it looks like Nariko is set and ready, Alani is set and ready, and Arents is set and ready for this upcoming attack from the GKING. And speaking of which, here we go. Trying to bait the nade out there. Doesn't bait it though. Nariko sticks true to his guns. Does get 2-on-1 though by Zygrain and Pirelli. But Arents does get the pick on Laxus. 2v2 here once again. Both Pirelli and Zygrain rotating here to try and find the last two members of Smartless inside, holding short near the objective. Alani getting away from danger there. Laxus is now respawned back in, but it will take him a moment to get back in as Nariko does spot Laxus and is able to drop him. So that's going to be a bit of a problem for GKING trying to push in on here. Once again, they're in a 2v3 scenario. Arents does get Pirelli now, and it's just down to Zygrain, who is completely out of position and will be trying to coordinate his team for a different kind of approach here. Members of Smartless once again just forming up, getting positions, considering what their next defensive location and positions will be as we wait for the members of GKING to respawn, get in position and start this next push onto the point. It does look like Pirelli has swapped to the OCA here. Given that it's a close quarters area, it might come in handy. And the cars are coming in. Car spawner directly outside. Alani and Nariko waiting for the door. The door's opened. Nade in. And it's a 2v2 in this small area. OCA coming in clutch as Pirelli does get a lot of assists there. Laxus gets the kill on Nariko. Does get dropped by Alani though. So an even trade there from both teams as Zygrain now tries to push him from the opposite side and try and sneak onto the point, but it does sound like over the comms that Smartless did spot it. Pirelli does get the kill on Alani now and is coming to the assist as Zygrain goes to take the point. Arents is now trying to defend it but doesn't do so. Pirelli does get the kill with the OCA and is going to take this objective quite comfortably. Good manoeuvre and really good manoeuvre there by GKING, able to secure the objective there quite comfortably from quite a difficult spot to attack in some cases, and they are going to get that item out with a little bit of pressure but nothing too much as Pirelli once again using that OCA to its maximum effectiveness and providing that all needed support for Zygrain, holding short, but Alani coming in out of nowhere does drop him. They did get a lot of damage off each other, so the 45 only needed one shot to kill. Zygrain getting back to his vehicle now and will yearn to rush and get to that objective drop-off first. The members of Smartless, I don't think, realise that the item's out, and if they do, it's too little too late. it's an open road for G-Kings as they are on their way to drop off this medium item and take it to a last stage. And this last stage is going to be crucial. Whoever wins this is going to have advantage and match point. So, I think it's pretty certain here that the G-Kings will secure this. Although Arentz has made it to the drop-off for Smartless first. All three members of G-Kings pushing in from both angles here. Arentz does manage to get an NFA 9 kill, but Zygrain does pick up the kill. Here come the other members of Smartless now pushing in from behind. Fantastic grenade there by Nariko as Laxus picks up the kill there. Sorry, Laxus with the grenade. Fantastic three-man by G-King, sorry, wiping Smartless off the map there and securing the item. However, they're being smart about this. They are deliberately waiting to get their vehicles at the ready because they know what the last stage is going to be. They're trying to goad the members of Smartless closer to the objective, but they're not falling for it. This is a smart team, despite their name. They know what's going on, so they opt not to go towards the defense location and instead just linger around waiting for the last stage, and thus are going to make it to this one first. A 3-point checkpoint hold in this construction area once again. Members of G-Kings now starting to make their way in as the first objective is going to be converted. It will go to Smartless. Objective K being taken there. Good nade there by whoever's on K by Smartless. Arentz getting a fantastic grenade there onto Zygrain. Laxus getting a pick on Arentz there. Trading off the kills as G-Kings secure the objective I. And Smartless here, Device will secure objective J. Now those wooden pallets will come in very clutch here, I reckon, as they are destructible terrain, which can respawn. And having said that, there the pallets go. One quick grenade and away they go. Alani getting the pick there and Pirelli trying to push in onto Nadeko to take objective J. Not too effective there, as we have Zygrain now pushing in from the opposite side. The members of Smartless, I don't think, realise that he's there, and he's going to get onto the point now. They have been able to convert K as well, meaning that no points are going towards the G-Kings right now. In fact, the G-Kings are at a deficit here. Smartless have taken the lead here and secured objective I, as Zygrain gets the kill on Nariko, then goes to push onto Arentz. Arentz does get the kill on Laxus, has a good angle here, just needs to be a bit more aggressive, and there it is, he does get the kill, will take objective K here, as the last member of Smartless is going to try to defend K here, but Pirelli providing way too much pressure. Alani's got his work cut out here if he wants to try and stop this, he's not going to, and thus G-Kings secure one of the objectives, with Alani still floating around in the middle here, putting a lot of pressure onto these two members of G-Kings, really fighting for his life here, as they try to close him down and lock him off. Pirelli finally getting the kill on Alani there, but Nadeko is back in on the action, has spotted some of the members of G-Kings, gets an early nade in onto that objective location, does get the kill on Pirelli. Those pallets get destroyed, I told you they'd come in clutch. But Nadeko gets dropped by Zygrain now. G-Kings now have 2 of the hold points and are now going to take the lead. In fact, they just have. As one of the members of Smartless, 2 members of Smartless now sneak in and reconvert objective K back to them. Nadeko now pushing in from the overpass from the car spawner, taking objective K. Sorry, the audio went mute there for a second, but Nadeko was able to fend off Laxus there as he's going to take J now non-contested. Laxus did get the kill on Alani though, and the G-Kings will have to retake K here as Nadeko secures J and will try to take the lead back for Smartless, but it's going to be a bit tricky for them as Pirelli is securing objective K for G-Kings as the nades go flying once again. They are getting pincered by another member of Smartless here as he tries to come in from behind, does try to get a kill, but Pirelli does manage to get the kill on Arentz there. Gets a lot of damage onto Zygrain, but not enough. The other member of Smartless now pushing in, but 2 nades have been pushed in onto him. He managed to get out of there, I think, alive. Nadeko fighting for his life as he is on a managed retreat out of there just to try and stay alive into the fight, but Zygrain getting the valuable kill there for G-Kings and securing Objective K. They are going to now reconvert J back to them and hopefully gain the lead on points once again. 6 minutes left on the clock, so there is plenty to play for. And don't forget, GKINGs also have Objective I. It's been there the entire time. They've held it for quite a long time in this match. We'll have to wait and see what Smartless decide to do here, but they are now going to run away with it as the GKINGs have all 3 objectives down and locked down for them. They're earning 3 points every 2 seconds. And now Zygrain and Nariko fighting between each other on the highway and the construction area, as the other members of Smartless encircling via the access ramp. Nariko now closing the distance and trying to get in on this fight, and does spot one of the members of Smartless out of position. Does manage to do a little bit of damage there to Zygrain, but not enough to really push him out of the fight. Zygrain staying in the area to provide support as much as he can. Does manage to spot Alani there, doesn't really do too much. Smartless able now to neutralize Objective I at least and reduce the point gain from GKINGs here, as Nariko making a very aggressive push down the middle here is going to get caught off guard by one of the members. Pirelli back on the overpass, does manage to drop him. Now Zygrain from GKING's perspective is going to try and find those remaining members of Smartless and catch him off guard. Alani using epinephrine now, only got half HP. Can Zygrain go for it? But he's in a lot of trouble. He whiffed a lot of his shots there. Alani just needs to push and he might be able to secure a kill here. Arentz does get the kill on Laxis. Pirelli's still alive, but Zygrain in a lot of trouble here. Is Alani going to try and push it? Pirelli does get the kill on Arentz though. And yes, Alani pushing in hard does get the kill on Zygrain. As Nariko now pushing the overpass, trying to push off the remaining members of GKINGs who are up there. Does manage to get Laxis, and they will now be rushing to recapture all 3 objectives as fast as possible. They've got one hell of a deficit to cover here. GKINGs did manage to get quite a considerable lead on points as they held all 3 objectives, but Pirelli is still in the area and Smartless are still taking the points. Pirelli might try to stop Nariko here, so they only have 2 of the 3 objectives, but all 3 members of Smartless are set up and ready to defend. And they're going to have to be, because here come the members of GKINGs once again, pushing all the way through. Does manage to spot Alani, doesn't manage to run him over, but will get rid of his car spawner. Vital if Smartless try to get in quickly. That's going to thwart that plan a little bit, as Nariko does manage to find Zygrain, catches him off guard in the middle of the open and drops him. Laxis, however, does manage to trade and get the kill on Nariko. Also manages to kill Alani as well. Fantastic play there from Laxis, and they will now push to try and convert these objectives back, but it does look like Smartless are going to take the lead here. Again, 3 minutes left on the clock. They have managed to neutralize one of the points, but the other members of Smartless are already in the area providing a lot of harassment. And as a result, it's not allowing GKINGs to take the points, as Nariko does get the pick there on Zygrain and is now going to make a move in as he tries to retake K with assist from Arentz. Arentz managing to get the kill on Pirelli there. Only 1 member left. Laxis on the highway there has got the advantageous position, but will be in trouble as 2 members of Smartless now on Objective K. He is going to try and make some move there, fumbles over the railing and drops. And that is a team wipe by Smartless on GKINGs. It's back and forth all the way to the end. They're fighting tooth and nail for this victory. And now it's back in the hands of GKINGs. The ball's in their court. What will they do? 2 minutes 10 left on the clock as Smartless set up once again to try and defend against the GKINGs. But will the GKINGs be able to do something here and turn it around again? They were able to hold all 3 items for a considerable amount of time. They have taken out one of the car spawners there, the Pioneer Nomad. And Nariko getting rushed there by 2 members, Pirelli and Laxis. They are able to take him out now and are making a push on to the overpass. In fact, all 3 members of GKINGs are now pushing, trying to pressure Alani away. It looks like Zygrain is going to go for Objective I, but he wants to just see if it's clear. It looks like it is, so he's going for it. Pirelli does get the kill on Nariko. Pirelli also gets the kill on Arentz, not before Arentz gets the kill on Laxis though, so only 2 members left for GKINGs on this push, but they are neutralizing and capturing both J and I here. Nadeko managing to make his way back in and stopping the capture from Pirelli on J. So both teams now earning 1 point every 2 seconds. 1 minute 15 left on the clock. There's not a lot of time here for the GKINGs to turn this around. And that point lead is just increasing, but not anymore. As Nadeko, Zygrain spots one of the members. I think it was Alani. Alani trying to make his way back in here as Nadeko does get the kill on Pirelli. GKING's in a lot of trouble here, but it does look like Nadeko's going to be in a lot of trouble here, as here comes Zygrain trying to get some damage onto Elani. Does do a little bit, but not enough to push him away. Lexus now trying to come in to provide support. Nadeko does get the... that was a previous kill, sorry. The kill feed sticking around is a little bit confusing, but Nadeko gets the kill on Lexus now. Getting turned around, Adams does drop... Zygrain there. Sorry, getting the names confused. But it does look like Smartless have run away with this one. 20 seconds left on the clock. It was very back and forward, but they have managed to break the stalemate. Smartless are going to be on match point here in 15 seconds, if that. 10 seconds left to go now. Are they going to win on points, or are they going to win on timeout? Let's see. They're going to win on points. 3-2 to Smartless as we go to match point, round 6. Other way round. Round 6 and match point for Smartless. That was back and forth all the way through. I honestly had no idea who was going to win that. Both teams held points for a considerable amount of time in that match, and the lead swapped hands at least 3 times there. So, is this it? Is this where Smartless really push it up a notch? And are we going to see a repeat of how they performed against Ultimate Matori? Is the next final stage going to be a single checkpoint hold? And will Smartless once again win on the last possible second? Are we going to see history repeat itself again tonight? Or will the GKINGs manage to bring it back to 3-3 and thus take us to a special tiebreaker mission? Find out in just a moment.
Короче, давайте через 5 минут приду, хорошо?
Looks like Nadeko from Smartless has just called for a quick 5-minute break, and we'll let them do that as Alani is trying to make his way back in. So just give us a moment here while we wait for that to happen. And in the meantime, good heavens, I can't keep up with everything that's going on in the mission. There's enough to talk about, and my god, they're thick. These matches are thick and fast. These rounds are crazy. This is the closest match that I think we've had this entire tournament so far. And this is absolutely brilliant. The encounters are quick. The fighting is unbelievable, and both teams now feeling the pressure. As you've seen, both teams fumbling quite easy kills, and then on other times when they're cool, calm and collected, picking up a perfect track on their opponent. But both teams taking plays out of each other's books here, both taking measured approaches where necessary, both going ultra aggressively and rushing to the points where appropriate. It's almost like a mirror match in some cases, both teams as equally skilled as each other and bringing something to the table that the other team doesn't have, making this a very interesting matchup and probably the most interesting so far. Ultimate Matori versus Smartless was fantastic, but this is something else. So the question is, will Smartless take this away and win 4-2 against the GKINGs, or will the GKINGs balance the books once again and take us to a tiebreaker special? I think we're about to get started here again in just a moment. We're still waiting for Alani to get back. If you need to quickly go to the toilet, now would be the time. Okay, it looks like we're almost ready to go here. We're still waiting on Alani to get back, so apologies for the delays here. But GKINGs are ready to go here. We're just waiting on Smartless to be ready. We should be ready here in the next couple of minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, I've got confirmation that Alani is back. They've loaded into the district. We'll be returning you to the feeds now. And we will get round 6 started. Match point for Smartless. GKINGs, everything to play for.
Возьми таран на граффити.
Пришел, не перевел. Блять.
Что такое?
Oh, looks like we've had another issue with Alani. Unfortunately, he's having some connection issues. Just bear with us.
Он просто не определил микрофон.
Охуеть, блять. Блять, хорошо, что не в игре, пиздец, блять.
Класс там на готове?
Тут, конечно.
Так точно.
Ты там стреляешь хоть по ботам, нахуй?
Конечно.
Тебе там не надо стрелять по ботам. У тебя там не надо это делать.
У него по
Мне
ботам не
кажется, что
стреляет.
если сейчас Квай залетит, то он там разъебет всех просто, типа, за что
тоже так кажется.
не устал.
В соло чисто.
Whilst we wait, we did have another poll in the Twitch chat on if you thought Smartless will win the upcoming match point mission, and I think the results really speak for themselves, as it really is all to play for. 50% yes, 50% no. It really is difficult to say. Smartless could do something incredible here and secure a 4th victory, or a 4th win in this match. But the GKINGs have proven themselves very capable and more than capable of balancing the books once again, proving quite an interesting upset here if they're able to do it. That being said, we're still waiting on Alani, so just bear with us and we'll be back with you shortly.
Ну, может быть. Но все равно мы чаще по одному играем, чем...
Не, но тебя тоже момент разошел, потому что тебя Долтон был на мосту, ты бы вместе с девайсом отлетал.
Да. Но девайс тоже, видишь, не повезло, он точку не смог.
Да, конечно,
Да,
блядь,
я
калаш машину вызывать, что пиздец. Чтобы килл какой-нибудь ставить.
Okay, I have confirmation. Alani is back once again. We will return you to the feeds now and hopefully kick off this round 6.
Все нормально. Типа там даже не близко, нахуй, у нас 150 поинтов разница.
Ну там Кирилл там долго жил в точке.
Не готовы, ребят.
Да там и
Да,
Халсей
да,
тоже
Макс
хорошо
тут?
жил.
Да, вообще
Макс,
молодцы.
Мы только один раз им 3 точки отдали. А потом мы держались.
Подожди, напиши.
Вы еще это теряетесь в плане того, что вы же помните, в финал должны
Да,
быть,
да.
там один кто был поехал по рейли, потому что, мне кажется, Флогин заходил, где был в точке.
А я про финал вообще забыл.
Да он заспамил, он не поехал, он туда, где точки. Он просто
Выйди, кровая.
выезжался подряд, просто поехал. Просто спамился на вызове, пускай далеко. Нет, повезло, что, допустим, в той стороне. То есть там,
Про...
уверен, что там никого.
Врагов
А в конце не миссия.
Просто я тебе клянусь.
Ну, возможно, то типа не спорю.
Там тачка стояла,
Да.
он специально поехал по спаун, поставил, блядь. И пришел на контакт. Ну, дефис контакта.
Почему нас гамите бегать?
Ладно, похуй.
Не
Приятно.
знаю, типа изи для него.
Ты поставил граффити? Граффити, который
А что за миссия будет?
шоудаун.
One final confirmation for both teams to be ready. GKING say yes. Smartless say yes. Good lucks are given out, and here we go. Round 6. Smartless on the attack, GKING's on the defense. Match point for Smartless here. So the GKINGs have their work cut out for them.
Давайте.
It does look like Smartless are going to make it to the point first, but are getting distracted by the GKING's members. Good tracking there by Nariko. Only needs one more shot. There it is. Zygrain dying. Nariko getting first blood for round 6. But this all going on as Arons gets the pick on Pirelli. Laxus getting the kill on Ilani. And Nariko finishing off Laxus there. 2 versus... Well, another team wipe by Smartless on the GKINGs, opting to go for the ultra-aggressive start here. But it does look like Zygrain is back in position to hopefully provide some sort of defense for the GKINGs here. Unfortunately, Smartless are already on the point. They're already capping it. They've already established a perimeter and have taken stage 1. On to stage 2 now. Once again, Smartless opting to go for this hit and run sort of style where they disrupt and delay the GKING defense as much as possible, whilst one of their members just bum rushes the point and tries to take it as early as possible. But it looks like the GKINGs are having none of it. Here they come. There's multiple in the area, but none of them are going for it just yet. Fantastic shots there from Nariko's 45. Does get dropped by Pirelli though from behind, as Zygrain now starts to get into position to help support the GKING's defense here. Does manage to finish off Arents there, with Pirelli putting a lot of the effort in. So there's only one person left alive for the for Smartless. Alani is just going to hide and wait as the other two members get into position, as they immediately get caught out by Pirelli, but Arents does manage to trade and make up for Nariko's death there. Although it is a 2v2 now, Laxus and Zygrain are going to be on high alert as both Alani and Arents try to make a push here. Arents does manage to finally get the kill on Laxus. It's now a 2v1, or rather a 2v2. The Pirelli has respawned in time now and will be back in position very soon. Zygrain still trying to hold an awkward angle on the objective here as Alani starts looking for him. Alani does get the kill on Pirelli though. Pirelli gets the kill on Arents as it forces Zygrain to move forward a bit. Does get 2 perfect bursts on Alani, does drop him due to gravity. Gravity being the ultimate assist king in APB. But Device isn't having any of it. He's after Zygrain now, but unable to make a kill here. Nades are coming in. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here as other members of GKINGs are now starting to swarm his position and make it difficult for him. But what a fantastic nade by Nariko onto Laxus there. Perfect concussion once again. He's going to try and jump down onto the point, but I don't think he realises that Zygrain is still up holding that angle and can see it perfectly fine. And Pirelli is now in position. He does manage to catch him though, as Zygrain gets caught out by Alani, who flanked all the way to his side and caught him completely off guard there. Alani also catching Pirelli off guard, and they are able to secure this spray stage. On to stage 3 now. It is 2 targets to raid, and Smartless once again are probably going to opt for quick and aggressive, and hopefully not let GKINGs set up in time to stop this. And it's not looking good for the GKINGs. They haven't got the best spawns here. Meanwhile, the members of Smartless have already made their way to Objective E. Alani securing that raid point. Nariko providing effective cover and support there from his vehicle. Zygrain matches him and races to objective D first to set up some sort of defense and hopefully stop Smartless snowballing all over them here. Both teams now trying to go up into the buildings, secure the area first before making a move. Again, it's just a lot of positioning, a lot of maneuvering here, trying to get the other team to make a mistake first. Because whichever team makes the mistake first, they're at the disadvantage. It looks like we're going to go for a quick resupply of grenades here. They are going to need them to flush out the defenders here. As the G-Kings are now fully set up, waiting. Alani doesn't realise where he is, but it does look like there are two members of Smartless pushing in from this angle. It's going to be all down to Zygrain to try and hold this off. Meanwhile, Device is now trying to get an angle from completely the opposite direction to try and find the other members of G-Kings and push them out, but gets a fantastic nade right up his backside as Laxus finishes him off. Pirelli getting a fantastic nade there on Nariko, stopping that advance. Meanwhile, the other two members of Smartless, I think, have given up on the push from this direction. Zygrain not really under any sort of pressure here. They have blown up the vehicle and they have driven off. Opting not to go for that encounter there, or that particular engagement. They are going to try and push from a different angle here. Meanwhile, it looks like they have relayed the information that Nariko is trying to sneak in from a different angle. Bad timing of the epinephrine there, as Nariko is able to, there's the word again, capitalise on the situation, gets the drop on Zygrain. Quite crucial here. We'll see if he can. Really get something going here. Try and possibly take out Laxus as well. No, Laxus is backed off a bit there as Pirelli does get the kill on Alani. And Device now getting caught from behind by Zygrain as he has respawned and made his way back in. Laxus getting the kill on Arents now. Nariko the last alive. He's going to get pinned. And that's a team wipe by the G-Kings. On to Smartless. Now, sadly, this particular mission, the faster that the attackers go, the more time they get per stage. Despite it only being a one raid point, Smartless still have 5 minutes 30 left on the clock to take this. It is a huge uphill struggle for the G-Kings here. They're going to have to hold this perfectly. Very good use of the 45 there against the Oscar. Managing to drop Alani there. Nariko does get one OB burst on as Arents manages to find Zygrain, manages to drop in there. Nariko also getting the kill on Laxus there. That might be it. That might be a reverse team wipe. And it looks like it, as Pirelli is the only one in, but he had respawned, I believe, just before this. As Nariko has found Pirelli close by, but here comes Zygrain and Laxus hot on their heels. I don't know if they're going to make it in time. All Pirelli has to do is distract and delay. But he's got a lot of time that he's going to have to distract and delay for, because all three members of Smartless have now moved in, but it has been enough time. Zygrain has managed to make his way back in and is putting all the pressure on the members of Smartless here, and it's a team wipe by the G-Kings. A coordinated push onto all three members of Smartless as they were trying to secure a short and small perimeter around the point. But Pirelli was able to hold them off for just long enough as Zygrain got in position there, flanked them and completely obliterated them. Fantastic plays. All three members of G-Kings get a kill each on that team play. So Smartless have got their work cut out for them on this. If they want to win this match, they're going to have to work for it. 3 minutes 45 left on the clock as G-Kings have now set up once again. Again, we see them incredibly good on the defense, and I would say that the G-Kings' defense is better than their offense. But conversely, Smartless's offense is definitely better than their defense. So, the best of both worlds here, basically going up against each other. Which one is going to give first? Will Smartless be able to get this, or will the G-Kings hold on for 3 minutes and 20 seconds? Pirelli getting the pick there on Nariko. Arents returning the favour and killing Pirelli there. 2v2 as the information is passed on and the G-Kings reposition for the direction that Smartless are pushing from. Meanwhile, Nariko not really able to do too much here. He's been caught out, I think, twice now before he could get into this encounter. Well, hopefully he'll be able to make it back in this time. But the members of GKING's now spotting Alani as he tries to sneak out in the open. Laxus is going to try and get a pick on him as well. But he gets caught out by Arentz. Arentz gets picked up by Zygrain. It is a trade. Nariko's now back in position as Alani tries to sneak onto the point. Zygrain having none of it, and unfortunately Nariko not able to do much as he's getting pressured by somebody else here. Fantastic nade there by Nariko as he gets by Zygrain onto Nariko, keeping him at bay, but it looks like Pirelli is trying to make his way across. Nariko does get a few good hits on, but not too much. Alani has respawned from a car spawner nearby and is now back into the fight as well. All members from both teams are up. It's a bit of a scramble as they back off from each other again for a second, re-coordinate. And Smartless are really going to have to do something about this now, as once again Nariko caught out in the open by Zygrain. Is he going to finish him? Not this time. Arentz does get the kill on Pirelli, so here comes Smartless once again. Alani's kind of in trouble here, but not enough. Zygrain not able to secure the kill there. Arentz now putting pressure onto Zygrain, forcing him out. Good nades coming in from the other members. Laxus does get a revenge kill with a grenade onto Arentz there, so it is a 3v2 now. But Zygrain getting picked off by a brilliant nade by Alani there. Nades are flying. Oh, good heavens. It's World War III out there in San Paro as Alani has now pushed onto the point. Nariko providing support, but the other two members of GKING's are now back in play. With Zygrain still waiting to respawn. Doesn't have a good spawn here, so it's going to be down to Laxus and Pirelli to hold off this push. Alani gets a kill onto Zygrain with a grenade. That was the one that we saw from before. Arentz now gets the kill on Pirelli, and that was all that they needed, because now the third member of Smartless managed to secure the raid point. Laxus getting the kill on Alani there as he snuck the item, or snuck the objective. 4 minutes 48 now on the clock to just spray one graffiti location. This should be pretty straightforward for Smartless if they can get there first, but if GKINGs are able to hold on, they could stop them before they get to the last stage. Pirelli catching Nariko out there completely. As Zygrain from the GKINGs opts to hold the overpass here, watching from the other side of this area. A perfect angle to hold from with the Obeer. It's going to be difficult for Smartless to do something here as somebody's phone is going off. I believe it's one of the players from one of the teams, not sure who. Nonetheless, the members of GKINGs opting to float a little bit more. Rather than holding specific angles and specific positions, they're opting to kind of just move around as much as possible, use the area to their advantage as best as they can, and keep their eyes peeled for every direction that Smartless could come from. And speaking of which, here they come. Nariko opting to go all the way underneath. However, Zygrain definitely spotted the move. He's going to try and get a nade onto Nariko. Nariko now backing off, not opting to go onto the overpass. As Zygrain's car having a bit of a fit there. Alani does manage to run over Laxus, but Arentz getting picked up there by Pirelli with Zygrain on the assist just outside of the Obeer's effective range. And here comes Nariko once again trying to put some pressure onto Zygrain's Koi Wolf. It doesn't have a lot of HP. He might be able to pull this off with the Obeer despite the fact it doesn't do a lot of damage to vehicles. With a bit of assist there with Pirelli, with Alani, sorry, they are able to secure the kill and are going to make the push onto the highway and see if they can flush out the remaining GKING defenders here, but they can't see them anywhere. Laxus is holding short near the objective, out of visual range. The others are in vehicles, moving about, and there's Zygrain back in the action. Does have an angle on the objective from here if he opts to stay around here and not give his position away, but Laxus is having a bit of an encounter there with Alani, but Alani does manage to get the kill. Zygrain returns the favour and trades for Arentz there. Alani now opting to go into the stairwell and climb up the car park. No, he comes right back out. Good nade there by Zygrain, but not enough to do enough. Nariko has swapped to the HVR. Alani picking him off and finishing him off there. A bit of a role reversal. Sorry, no, he kept the Obeer, not the HVR. I'm surprised that the GKINGs didn't opt to hold the highway here. That may be the faux pas of the night, as Arentz is able to pick up Pirelli there. Pirelli there does get the kill on Alani, so both Arentz and Nariko now able to push onto the point. None of the members of GKINGs in position to really defend this, but Laxus is close by. Is he going to be able to do enough? He did try to get an early nade on. That is a fantastic bank nade there from Arentz. That's going to get the vehicle for sure. But Zygrain able to clutch a quick kill on Arentz and stop the cap. Laxus able to quickly utilise that time to sneak up the stairs and drop Nariko. Fantastic work there from the GKINGs, able to hold on for dear life, as this is their tournament chances on the line here. 1 minute 15 left on the clock for Smartless to take this objective. As Smartless get dropped again, Nariko taking out Zygrain, but Laxus dropping both Nariko twice. Alani getting the pick on Laxus there. Pirelli still on the point, ready to go. Arentz nowhere near the objective, and it looks like Zygrain is going to make his way back in here to help defend. Alani does manage to get the pick. Is he going to try and drop onto the point straight away? No. Zygrain is in position ready to defend this, but is going to have to be distracted by one of the other members of GKINGs, who's now trying to get a vehicle kill by blowing up his car. Sorry, grenade kill by blowing up the vehicle. Unable to do so, but the other member of Smartless was able to sneak in there. Sorry, of GKINGs was able to sneak onto the car spawner there before it blew up. That being said, Nariko was able to pick up Laxus there. He's trying to get an angle on him. Is he going to get him in time? He's able to hold him off, but Nariko is able to provide the defense where necessary. He's not able to kill Alani. Nariko is still suppressing Zygrain there and is able to do so. Nariko now finally able to provide enough support to help Alani take the point, but Pirelli delaying the inevitable as Arentz and Alani finally secure the perimeter, get the objective. And oh no, it is a one-stage King of the Hill checkpoint capture again. Are we going to see a repeat performance from Smartless, coming back from almost losing to winning at the last possible second? Will they do it again against the GKINGs here? Or will the GKINGs manage to take this unfortunate deficit and turn it around and take us to that all special important tiebreaker? It's all to play for now. 6 minutes and 20 on the clock, and it does look like GKINGs are going to secure the early lead here as Pirelli manages to take the point. Zygrain taking the highway early, able to gain a good vantage point over the entire area that the objective is in, but here come the nades are flying from the Smartless players. Both Alani and Arentz now trying to flank in from different angles, and I suspect that Alani is going to try and push Zygrain off the highway here. Ooh, what a good angle from Zygrain, managing to almost pixel kill. Who was that? Arentz. Pirelli able to get the kill on Nariko, so it's down to Alani here to make something happen, but he is completely out of position. His role there was to stop Zygrain from providing support and overwatch, but was unable to get there in time before the other two members of Smartless perished. So, the early lead from the GKINGs here, if they can hold this, they'll be good. Nariko really not paying attention there. Zygrain just waiting for the inevitable. Getting a ladder kill on Nariko there from Smartless. GKINGs once again, comfortable. Just holding the area. Holding quite a wide radius though. They're opting to try and hold the highway as opposed to the point directly. Smartless could use this to their advantage and sneak the objective whilst everyone is out of position. We'll have to see if they try to do anything with this, and it looks like they are. Nariko's going to try and sneak in. I don't think any of the members of GKINGs realise this, but Smartless are going to have to do more, otherwise one of those members will start looking. They are trying to provide a distraction and enough pressure, but is it going to be enough? Possibly, but here comes Nariko. Fumbling a little bit there against Laxus, I believe. Trying to get a nade on as Arentz now trying to support this push. Does manage to get the kill on Laxus, and now GKINGs are definitely aware to where they are. Zygrain desperately looking for information, trying to find out where they are before they push onto the objective. We know two of them are going to push this and try and stop Zygrain, and I know Smartless would have been looking for Zygrain as well to see where he is before they push this, just so they can suppress him and get onto the point. And here we go, that's it. Nariko providing the covering fire as Arentz tries to sneak onto the objective, but it's too open for them to do so. But it does look like Nariko's going to run across, fake the cap, as Arentz now tries to get onto the point, giving, unfortunately, Zygrain a much better viewpoint there, using the ramp to his advantage. Laxus does manage to get the kill, but Alani getting a fantastic grenade there onto Zygrain. That might be crucial, as Alani tries to sneak onto the point. But it does look like Pirelli and Lexus are waiting for him. to come in from below. However, the car spawners are blocked nearby, and as you can see, Nadeko has got a good spawn here. He's going to take the highway, and that might be crucial in the Smartless recapture here. But if you have a look at the points, GKINGs are so far ahead in the points at the moment. If they're able to hold this for just a little bit longer, they could secure the victory here and take this to that special tiebreaker. Smartless have everything to work for here, and it's an incredible uphill struggle for them. Nadeko, on the other hand, has got the highway. This could be very crucial if he can use it well. And the other members of Smartless are able to move in from below, secure the area and push in. And if Nadeko is able to provide Overwatch, that's all they need to do. But it looks like he's going to get pressure from both sides here as Zygrane comes in from behind and does get the kill on Nadeko whilst being distracted by Pirelli. Good use there of a distraction tactic. Laxus getting the kill there on Alani as well. Smartless falling apart here, as it's all falling apart for Smartless, as GKINGs have just had another resurgence and they have really clamped down their coordination. This is incredible from them. A bit of an early jump out there from one of the members of Smartless, but he does manage to pull it off. Arent sticks to his guns, stays confident, and manages to get the kill on Zygrane there. Very surprising, really. I genuinely thought Zygrane would have had that. But Laxus and Pirelli are going to hold short. But here it comes. Here's the all-important push. Are they Smartless going to get this at the last second? No! GKINGs are able to secure their third round win. And as a result, we go to a special tiebreaker. It's 3 rounds apiece. Both teams will need to swap back to their original factions as we get this special tiebreaker mission ready to go. And what's so special about this? Well, both teams do not have to play the opening stages of a mission. This is a completely new crafted mission. It is a single stage mission, 8 minutes on the clock, and it is basically just a final stage playoff. So we get to see this fun and special tiebreaker. I've been waiting for this. This is going to be really hectic. Both teams are going to fight like their life is on the line, despite the fact it's only their tournament life. Oh, we've been waiting for this, and these teams deliver. What an incredible match so far. It looks like I'm mistaken. The teams are not going to swap factions. They are just going to go straight into the special tiebreaker. Both teams are raring to go. We're just waiting for the mission to be spun up here. Round number 7. Tiebreaker match point. Either team could win it all and get to the finals here. GKINGs have the small advantage on winning against Smartless there on what was quite a stressful match from both teams, as we could hear from the comms. I'm sure our Russian viewers probably understood exactly what they were saying between my dictation, but for the rest of us it definitely sounded pretty stressful. And it's going to get even more stressful as we go into this tiebreaker. Sorry, it is a special 5-minute tiebreaker mission. This is a single area hold mission. It is a King of the Hill. Will Smartless be able to do it this time? Let's see. Will it be hosted in the same legendary location that Smartless won it the first time? Let's find out. We're quickly going to take a 3 to 5 minute break once again, just to let the teams calm, be prepared, get ready for this last tiebreaker, and then we'll be right back and we will conclude this semi-final. Oh, what an incredible turn of events there. I genuinely thought Smartless were going to run all the way through and finally secure another 4-2 victory, but the GKINGs have still got some fuel left in the tank and really consolidated their performance there. That was unbelievable. Oh, it's an item hold. Okay, it is definitely an item hold, not an area hold. Excuse me. So, will Smartless be able to pull it out of the bag using their last stage prowess, or have the GKINGs finally gotten the Smartless playbook? And will they be able to pull off a miracle? Will they be able to satisfy the viewers' poll? Or will Smartless upset the system and take their runnings all the way to the final? The tiebreaker works as such. It is a single stage mission. It is a single item hold mission. The points go up to 120 as per usual, and there are 5 minutes on the clock. The team that wins this round will go through to the finals, and the losers will go through to the losers finals, so they can secure a third place victory. Well, a third place position in this 2022 series APB Reloaded tournament, presented and hosted to you by the Community Events team. A big shout out to Natsu for pretty much doing all of the work on this tournament. All of the visuals, the graphics that you see, the UI, all of it was done by them. And it's always a pleasure to see the previews of what we've got up in store before we start the stream, trust me. So a big shout out there to Natsu for basically doing all the legwork and making sure that this could be a reality. So big thank you there. Once again, a quick shout out to both the streamers here. So from the GKING's perspective, it was Flogget, and that can be found at twitch.tv/Flogget, FLOGGET. If you want to watch the direct feed of the Smartless team as POV'd from Device's perspective, you can catch it at twitch.tv/device_. That is DIVAICE_. So, we are about to return you to the feeds as both teams are ready to go as we go into this all-important tiebreaker round. GKINGs are ready, Smartless are ready. It's all to play for. Round 7, match point.
Если это какая-то точка будет, там радар.
В идеале вообще, если рядом КамАЗ проезжает, просто в КамАЗ садишь и ждешь своих.
Если хочешь, лак забери. Смысл от паяльника нет.
Да не, на всякий случай,
Ну это типа 3 грамма.
Good luck to both teams here. We wish you the very best. Both have performed beyond our expectations, I would say, and has been an amazingly entertaining match of this tournament. But here we go. The mission is called Test Moving Target. 5 minutes on the clock, 1 item to hold. 120 points up for grabs for both teams here, as Smartless and GKINGs fight their way into the corridors of this courtyard and start setting up their all-important car spawners to get back into the action quickly. Both teams taking a lot of damage on their vehicles there. Nariko getting completely caught out by all 3 members of GKINGs there. Smartless do manage to get the item first and are moving it first, but it does look like the members of GKINGs are going to rush straight in. Pirelli now rotating round. Lanny does get the kill on Laxus, and here comes Zygrain trying to push all the way through. Gets a good nade onto Arons, which manages to drop him. Alani now trying to push in as well. Pirelli trying to push all the way through to try and push Alani off the point. Alani does manage to get the kill there on Zygrain, but Pirelli does pick up the kill and is able to secure an early lead here as the lead converts to the GKINGs as they manage to secure the bag for a little bit longer than Smartless. But here comes Nariko trying to push back in here. It is going to be a race to the finish of both teams. One of the spawns of Smartless has been caught there. Both spawns have been caught as Zygrain manages to spot both members of Smartless coming back in, both Alani and Arons there. Laxus does die to Nariko's Obeer as they do manage to start making their way in. They are going to retake the bag here, and they do indeed. The objective is now in the hands of Smartless as that point deficit is slowly ticking away, and it will convert to Smartless being in the lead in just a moment here. Arons holding the roof there from the other side of the road, trying to get an angle. Nariko getting completely caught out by the GKING, so have got a pretty good hold on the inside of this courtyard area, as the item is still not in the best spot for them though, but it is going to be difficult for Smartless to push this as they will need to secure 2 different locations, the outside and the in. Alani completely catching Nariko off their guard there with the Oscar Conk Nade combo. Alani and Arons still up though, making moves and trying to push on to the objective here as Nariko starts to make his way back in. Pirelli does manage to take out Alani though and starts to move the item back through the corridor towards the courtyard. Zygrain now does spot some of the members of Smartless coming back in, does manage to spot Nariko. The nade did get close but didn't find purchase. That second one did though. Again, Zygrain's nades have been on point this entire match. Incredible stuff. And GKINGs are now really starting to secure a lead here. They've got 10 points ahead. It is still all to play for. 2 minutes and 30 left on the clock, so not long left now in this tiebreaker. In fact, over half the time has been played. Both teams now rushing to the point and trying to spot each other before they even get close to the location of the objective. Both Pirelli now and Zygrain trying to push Arentz off the roof here as much as they can. Arentz proving to be a little bit harder to remove than they thought, as Nariko now tries to sneak in onto the point, and they do sneak in. Alani and Nariko able to run in and secure the inside, as both Pirelli and Zygrain are both distracted by Arentz, who's been putting up one hell of a distraction, and it does look like Smartless will take this item back, but unfortunately Pirelli does manage to get Arentz. Zygrain does manage to pick off Nariko there, and they are pushing all the way back in. I think that was a team wipe. It was indeed. The GKINGs got another team wipe on Smartless. It is all falling apart from Smartless here. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. I think everything is falling apart, and they are just losing cohesion completely. The stress is definitely getting to them here. But they did manage to resecure the objective for just a brief moment, but the GKINGs convert it back. Nariko and Arentz still alive. Laxus does manage to get the kill on Alani, who is able to sneak the item there. We're down to the last 60 seconds of the tiebreaker, with Smartless in the lead, clear by 20 points. Sorry, GKINGs clear in the lead by 20 points. 60 seconds left on the clock now. It is all down to Smartless. The tournament is on the line here for them. Their chance to get into the finals ticking away second by second, as Laxus manages to sneak the item into a car and will hold it there. They cannot move that car though, and if they do, they will be disqualified. But it does look like the members of... we just lost the feed from GKINGs there, so we're only going to have the feed from Smartless here. They have managed to re-secure the bag in the last 30 seconds, and they are taking points back here. Zygrain now in trouble, as Nariko is in a fight for his life. Goes back into the courtyard area to secure the middle area, as I believe Alani and Arentz are going to try and hold a much wider area. In fact, never mind. Alani is close, holding short. Arentz is holding the other side of the hallway. They are really hunkering down here in this small hallway. They're going to have to be very careful about grenades. Alani picking up the kill there as Nariko does all the damage. They're going to open these doors again so they can quickly get back in and out. And it's gone to overtime. Are Smartless going to sneak this at the last second? They only need to hold this now for 22 seconds and they will secure the victory. It's now all down to the GKINGs to secure the win here. They only need to run in on the item and take it. That grenade perfectly landed on Zygrain. Zygrain is now out. They're not going to have enough time to get back in here. Laxus is trying to sneak in at the last second. He's desperately trying to rush in to try and keep the dream of the GKINGs thing alive. Laxus does manage to get the kill on Nariko. We're not going to see what happens here. We're only going to see the win! Smartless were able to take it at the last 30 seconds and hold it all the way through overtime to secure a 4-3 victory over the GKINGs. Again at the last second. Unfortunately there, we lost the feed from Zygrain. It went down in the last minute of the fight there, but oh my lord. Smartless once again, with their backs against the wall, pull out an unbelievable victory, and that victory was well earned and has secured their place in the finals. Oh, what an incredible finale. That was a tiebreaker mission for the books. What an amazing back and forth there. It genuinely looked like the GKINGs were going to have it. It genuinely looked like the GKINGs were going to win that, but unbelievably, by the skin of their teeth, Smartless secure the win on overtime. Well, it is a big thank you to everyone who was able to catch the stream today and catch this first semi-final match. So a big thanks to all of you for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because that was amazing. And if you tune in tomorrow at 5 PM UTC, you can watch the second of the semi-finals, and that will be Godsting versus Slayham. After that, we will have confirmation of when the losers finals will be and when the grand finals will be, to finally crown the team who will take away the $2,100 jackpot prize for this tournament. So, From everyone at CET, thank you very much indeed for watching. I have been your host, Kempington, this evening, and I wish you all a lovely weekend, and I hope to see you tomorrow for our final semi-final for Godsting versus Slayham. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.